All right, everybody, time for a little quick promo, and then it's go time. Hey, everybody, it's me, Tim, the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. It's Friday night. We got my guests are already in the studio. You're about to hear from them. 4026 Washington Avenue North. That's where we're at down here. We'll work for recovery. This show, Attitude for Gratitude, is what you're about to listen to. So you are probably watching this on what, Facebook, TikTok, maybe YouTube, whatever it is. Share it with one of the other platforms, or hit the like button or the thumbs up button or the subscribe. One of those things. Smash that like button. I don't know. Just the things I'm supposed to tell you, that's what I'm telling you. So we've got some artists on tonight from Iktomi Tattoo, returning guests and a new guest, doing big things in the recovery community. So, I don't know, get some popcorn, sit back, relax, get involved. You know this is interactive, so if you have questions for the guests throughout, go to the comments section. Otherwise, you will see my number scrolling across the bottom if you don't want your information out there. But share this show with whomever and whatever. So we are also down at Will Work for Recovery, like I just said. And we've got things going on down here all the time. Every night at 7 p.m., we've got big meetings happening. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are bigger meetings. Saturday, we do the walk and talk at 7 o'clock, and we are still doing the bonfires at about 8:30, weather pending. But tomorrow we got a big bonfire. Like, come on down. We have got so much wood to burn. But this place is, look at the background. So if you've never been down here, come check it out. Like, the whole vibe in this place is like what you see in the background. It's just real busy. If you haven't been to Will Work for Recovery, like, I challenge you to come check it out. It is one of a kind. Like, this is one of those places that changed the trajectory of my recovery. But yeah, other than that, like, get involved. If you are struggling, please reach out. If no one's told you today, like, you're worth finding this new life we're about to talk about. Other than that, sit back, relax, get ready. It's go time. Was about to start, boys and girls. We're here. Hey, welcome back to the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. Slow it down, take a breath. Welcome to the show, everybody. Why is this not sounding like it's loud? Can you hear me? In your headphones that you're not wearing? Come on, team up. Now you don't have to, but you can hear me just fine, right? Yeah, no, yeah, a little bit. Turn me up there. Yeah, boop, boop. All right, there. We're all home. So I've got Austin and Donnie in the house tonight for the show. It's going to be a great show. You just heard me do the little intro, but more or less, I just really wanted to emphasize that whole piece about, if you're struggling tonight, please, please, please reach out. We had that guest on the show about a month ago who said, like, give yourself 30 seconds. If you're having some negative thoughts or you're having some self-harming thoughts, please give yourself 30 seconds. It's all it takes for our thoughts to shift. It made sense. Now, I don't know if it was like for reals or not, but give it a shot. Otherwise, reach out. Call like Intergroup, or there's a hotline, 988, or you got my number scrolling across the bottom. Whatever the case is, give it a shot. I don't know what's going on here. I'm on trying to get this all lined up for TikTok, and there's all sorts of wackadoodle stuff. But that shouldn't affect you because you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, which you're probably busy right now sharing with everyone you know, like my guests aren't doing. We're down here at Will Work for Recovery, 4026 Washington Avenue North. No, you guys don't worry about it. I'm over here. Peer pressure is a son of a gun, ain't it? There we go. It's done. We're on. We're good. Good. Go times. There we go. That'll fall in a second. Perfect. All right. Welcome to the show, TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. Sorry about that intro, everybody. We're down here at Will Work for Recovery. It is Halloween night, and I was real excited when, after our Scars and Tattoo NA meeting, I take that back. After a Scars and Tattoo meeting I was at, I talked with a couple guys outside that meeting and asked if they'd come on Halloween, and we just scheduled this like a week ago or something, 2 weeks ago, and they said yes. So I'm really excited about this. Donnie, you guys have met before, but you won't recognize him. as you don't every time you see them. And Austin, up and comer. I'm not going to take any more of their thunder. I'm going to just get right into it. We'll work for recovery. 4026 Washington Avenue North. Every morning at 6:30 a.m. There's a very structured meeting that takes place here. Every evening at 7 p.m. we have a meeting. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays it's a larger meeting. Tuesdays is a well-bridey meeting. That's more of an indigenous people, native faith meeting. I think I'm saying that correctly. But come on down, check that out. They do some native readings. They smudge before the meeting starts. And it's a real good and spiritual meeting. So come on down here, check it out. Tomorrow night we have a bonfire after the walk and talk at 7 o'clock. Now, let's get this thing moving. Welcome to the show, young man. Who are you?
My name's Donnie. I'm an addict. I work at Iktomi Tattoo in South Minneapolis, and I am a drug addict in almost long-term recovery.
In some rooms, you are long-term recovery.
All right. Well,
to the guy with 10 days, you're real long-term recovery.
That's fair. Yeah, my clean date is 4/20/21.
I celebrate clean time. I see you nod your head. It's not an ego thing. It's me saying thanks for choosing this life. But keep on.
Let's see.
Well, yeah, I guess. Here we go. First interruption, number one.
Yeah.
No, because I'm not sure. I know you're not sure how to even get going on this, but you have been on the show before. Kind of just, yeah, like you're doing. Keep on doing. Fill us in and sorry, dude. Just keep doing what you're doing. Oh, I'm such a dink.
All right, that's one. Let's call that one.
That's what I said.
Yeah, it's two. So yeah, I've been on the show before. I mean, people that I've watched have seen different forms of me for sure. I'll give you the if you haven't before. Yeah, you know, my life used to be shitty and miserable when I was using, and the only thing I wanted was a way out, even if that meant death. And then, you know, prior to getting clean, I had seen the rooms of recovery. You know, I was just telling Austin a little bit ago. I remember coming to this meeting, getting my 30-day.
You mean here at Will Work?
Yeah, here at Will Work. And I was high out of my mind. Got my chip, went to the bathroom and got high after. I think I did that twice. But you know, I'd seen people in recovery, but I never really heard anything in the meetings. I was just still convinced I could figure things out and that self-will was the solution. But there's a book that maybe talks about self-will running riot. Yeah, which I'm grateful I finally, you know, I finally came to a meeting. I heard a message and knew I wanted what that person had. And, you know, from that point on, you know, I worked the 12 steps I've done in Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. I sponsor men in both fellowships. Yeah, the short version, you know, I showed up to treatment with nothing but 4 active warrants, 2 duffel bags that consisted of everything I owned, and no desire to live. That was just over 4.5 years ago. Where I'm at today, you know, I am tattooing professionally again. Just got married last year, and I have an 18-month-old daughter.
Miracle baby, miracle baby. We had the baby on the show.
We did.
Yes.
Yeah. It would be impossible now. Now she's running. She wouldn't tolerate this.
She's got her leg.
Yeah.
She wouldn't tolerate this at all.
Well, she couldn't walk last time.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, she walks now. And
she
you know,
runs, I imagine.
That doesn't count. The life that I have today, if you had told me was possible through recovery when I was getting loaded, I fucking wouldn't have believed you in a second. Even still today, what I mean, like the amount of peace that I've found, just like within, I didn't know that level of peace existed. I didn't know that until I did some work some steps, and learned how to be of service and how much that actually helps me, um, you know, where my life is today. I have to continually remind myself, like, this is the life, like, you know, with my career. Like, I used to like pray for where my career is at now. I'm not gonna lie, recovery didn't just open a fucking door to sunshine and rainbows and unicorns nonstop. What my life is like today is super hectic, and I'm busy nonstop. I'm get to be involved in so many cool things. You know, I'm traveling all over the country now doing tattoo conventions. I get to show up and be a father. And like the quality of life that I have is something I never even fathomed possible. You know, I have a family today, and I'm not just talking my wife and my daughter, like, you know, my shop family where I work, you know, and recovery has a fingerprint on all of it. Everything that is amazing in my life, I owe to recovery. And that includes like the struggles and challenges that I have today. I don't know. I know for sure that I wouldn't be able to show up and deal with anything that I'm able to today had I not worked the 12 steps and, you know, had a spiritual awakening and continue to try and be of service. And yeah, that's the short rundown.
No, you're going to keep going.
I'm going to keep going.
Because I want you to elaborate a little bit on a few of the things you brought up. I just figured I'd wait to have you elaborate on some things and go backwards in your story instead of me interrupting.
You see, people can change.
Yeah. No, because now
that's crazy.
Here's the good part,
sick.
And here's the feedback. Here's the feedback that I've gotten from the ones out there is that, and you guys, the one so far who sent the questions, I'm working on asking those questions while it gets brought up. But these guests that I have on tonight, we had a conversation beforehand about me interrupting them. So I'm trying my best not to interrupt, because my problem is simply this, is if I don't write it down and we go past it, I will forget to go back to it and it won't fit where I should ask those questions. One came in about timing, meaning you brought up something about you couldn't even pray about the life you have today. Do you remember when you realized that throughout your recovery? Like, when mentally did you realize, like, wow, there's no way like this was something I could have even imagined having? Like, do you follow the question I'm asking?
Yeah. I mean, I would probably start with like when I actually like came to believe that this program could actually work. And it was, I mean, I will never forget this because, you know, I was in treatment phase 3, like getting ready to graduate ahead of schedule. But, you know, this whole time I've been a good boy in treatment. I had 4 active warrants.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to come get you there, but, and you know, prior to this moment, I was still kind of on the fence of like, I'm just going to behave enough till I can fucking go back to misbehaving. You know, treatment was like, look, you got to clear these warrants up or we're going to kick you out. And,
they made that a stipulation for you to be there?
Yeah. I mean, they asked prior to me showing up to inpatient if I had any active warrants or anything. And of course I said no. You know, it was through a nonprofit company called Minnesota Freedom Fund that was like willing to, and my public defender at the time told me about it because he was on their board or whatever. And he was like, look, these people can clear up your warrants. Will
you keep telling this? I got to get them sound so they can hear us. I'm sorry, but please keep going with this. I'm being such a rude host.
Yeah, this nonprofit, Minnesota Freedom Fund, basically like put up my bail for the active warrants that I had. And they told me I just had to go down to Washington County to get booked and released, which was like a foreign concept to me. Yeah, they paid for like an Uber for me from Chaska all the way to Washington County. They meet me there, take my phone and all my stuff. And I go back to get processed or whatever. And then like 3 or 4 hours go by. Like, this is normal. I'm used to waiting in booking. Then like by hour 6, you know, I'm pacing back and forth, as I did so many times in the past. And then around like 9 p.m., they're like, all right, you're going to change out. Meant I was staying there for the night. By this point, I am livid. I'm cursing everyone's name, whoever suggested that this was a good idea. I'm like, I'm going to get so fucking high at these people when I get out.
I'm going to get so high at these people. I love
it.
So
yeah, I changed. I go to my cell. I have court in the morning, and then I'm ROR'd for the first time in my life.
Say that again. ROR?
Yeah, released on your own recognizance.
Oh,
they just let you out,
which is like foreign,
which is pretty foreign to me. And yeah, it turns out there was they didn't have enough bail money. There was another warrant that they didn't know about, which probably popped off like while all this was set up. Because while I was in treatment, I'd keep taking care of warrants by doing court on Zoom, and then more would show up from all my criminal activity while I was getting high. Yeah,
during those times, were the judges like all these things? Were you getting to the point of seeing a judge, or was it just dealing with the DAs?
So I was seeing judges, but this was like in the middle of COVID.
Oh,
everything's on Zoom, baby. They can't arrest you through
right. Were they being understanding? Like, could you tell like they were buying it, or were they just like, our hands are tied, we gotta let this dude slide?
I mean, like they loved seeing me show up, even if it's on a computer, and then getting all these, Shelby, my counselor in treatment, bless her heart, like she had to send. I had 5 probation officers at that time, because I was on probation in so many
counties.
Yeah.
Holy buckets.
And she would send out these she practically had another full-time job just sending out progress reports for me. But she did it. And like the judges would see these, and they gave me a chance. But
were you all in yet at this point? Like, wow, it's working, or no, not yet. You're still
going up to Washington County to get booked and released. I was still not all in.
Okay.
And then I spent that night in that jail cell, completely clean and sober. I woke up, went to court, maintained composure, talked to the judge respectfully. All these things very foreign to me. And
were you dealing with any type of withdrawals or anything at this time? Not really, because you were in that treatment.
No, that was that night was my 6 months.
Okay.
Of being clean and sober. And yeah, they let me out. Basically said, just keep doing what you're doing. And they, set a farther date out. And I got out of Washington County, as I had several times in the past. The usual suspects that you get out with, are all like trying to hang out, go get high. For whatever reason, that at that point, I was like, I just want to go to a meeting and get my 6-month tag. And that is where I, had this realization that maybe there is a life worth living, and maybe getting high isn't the solution anymore.
Can I, this is out of left field, but how much did you weigh at that time? 6 months into recovery.
6 months into recovery.
What was your body weight?
I was at least over 320.
You guys hear what he said, right? Just, all right, we're going to come up on that. Earlier, I didn't know where to even ask, but I think that's a monumental thing about this life you're living, on top of,
mind you, recovery. I came into treatment at 230.
So a guy really started ballooning.
Yeah.
And that 230 was probably methamphetamine assisted.
Oh yeah. I had that meth chic, I called it.
Jenny Frank.
I was like, all right with my body. That's because I never ate. And then, I knew I couldn't get high anymore. but food sure felt good after
the void.
Not eating.
Because there's this part that I'm going to make sure we don't go over, that we don't just skip over. And I know you touched on it before, but this part about being vocal about your recovery and asking other guys about things, and how another gentleman in recovery is part of your story on this weight loss journey. But 6 months in, you go into court, then they release you, and the old crew wants it, like, Donnie, let's hook up, and your only thought is, I want to go get my 6-month chip.
Yep.
Was that the turning point, you think, for you?
That's where it started. I really started like leaning harder into the steps. By month 9, my sponsor at the time had me start raising my hand.
What do you mean? What does that mean, raising your hand?
To sponsor other men.
Okay.
And how he put it to me, we had just finished my 6th step at that time. And
I asked a lot of questions that, of course, we know the answers, but a lot of people out here.
And, I understand why he did that with me.
At the time, did you?
At the time, I was like, fuck, this dude is an asshole. He's been on this podcast.
I love that. I love Terry White.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, like, you notice like the similarities, like how I talked about my first sponsor and he had me get in his truck and told me how much of an idiot I was. Yeah. And then I hear him tell his story and it's the same fucking thing. And,
the trickle down effect.
Ripple effect. And like, it's such a beautiful thing now that I realized, like, Terry was what I needed as a sponsor at that point in my life. I needed a guy who had like zero tolerance for bullshit, was really quick to tell me how stupid I am. At month 9, he was like, start raising your hand. How he put it was, you can't let your sponsees catch up to you on step work, so you're going to keep doing yours. And
when he brought this point up too, is consistently, if he had a sponsee that go out, whatever the case was, he stayed sober. Whatever the case is. And so while you're busy raising your hand working with the sponsee, you stay sober. Whatever, it's side note. So 9 months, 11 months, 10 months, whatever. Do you have a higher power at this point that you really have a higher power? Did you have one?
The rebel in me always has to be like, can't call it God. Because then I feel like I'm just like, I was so anti-religion, anti any religious establishment or anything that had to do with it. The word God kept me out of the rooms for years.
Right.
But I eventually like started praying to what I didn't have an exact name for. Like, I call it the creator. I use the word God a lot because it's a 3-letter word that people understand.
Okay.
But yeah, I prayed to a higher power. I did a lot of cool things in that first 2 years of recovery. I really recovery was like a full-time job for me.
Did you have the gun in your hand from day one, or when you got out of out of your inpatient? Tattoo gun. Have you been tattooing? Sorry.
I was like, I got rid of the gun when I went to treatment, but
what do we call, what's the slang word for? Were you still slanging ink? No. What? When did you
start tattooing?
Yeah.
I got out of inpatient. I started hooking up with a tech that worked there, so she like let me tattoo out of her apartment.
So you're kind of like a garage artist, or like you weren't tattooing out of a shop.
No, I was not.
Okay.
I started as a scratcher.
That's the type of words I was. A scratcher.
You're looking to call me a scratcher. It's fine.
When did you start scratching? No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was too nervous to go back into a shop right away.
Explain why.
Because I just took the last 4 years off to do meth.
I wasn't sure if this was the angle. I'm making an assumption here is that there are a lot of shops, and this is my own naivete from the few tattoos I have. Is a lot of the shops I would walk into, there was heavy use at quite a few different shops I had been to.
Yeah, drug use is definitely prevalent in the tattoo industry. Also, a big fear of mine of jumping right back into a shop was, getting linked up somewhere where people are using. At that point, I would have had a hard time saying no. I'd be like, my life's fixed. All right, fuck it. I can use successfully again.
Right.
And, but yeah, I had no equipment or anything. My homie Wes, we went to inpatient together. And then we went to outpatient together. He was like, look, man, I believe in you. He shelled out money for equipment for me. And I just started dude, I had to relearn how to tattoo. Because, I say I took 4 years off to do meth. In reality, I'd relapsed on meth. I was still tattooing while doing meth.
Could you equate it to like the whole thing I only know for myself, but a lot of people like all I knew how to have sex was when I was using. So like I was so scared to have sex or be intimate with a woman without some type of enhancement or drugs or alcohol. Like that's this big fear. Was it something similar to that? Like you only
I mean,
in a way, or
I carried so much shame for the fact that I feel like because tattooing is, the craft of tattooing I hold like very high in my heart. There are very few things above tattooing in my heart. It goes like, my recovery, my daughter, my wife, tattooing. God is included in my recovery.
There we go.
Yeah. And then, then everything else. And, I carried so much shame and resentment towards myself because I for a while there, I was like, I'll just do meth on my days off. And then, then I'd show up to the shop on a 3-day bender. And then, I fell out in the parking lot after work. And that's, I got arrested by Ramsey County. And that's where the spiraling out of control really started. Because I was sort of managing my life when I picked dope back up to a degree. I mean,
wait a sec. Wait, did I miss something here? All this time, did you go? Are you talking about before, or did you end up having a relapse after?
No, so I've been tattooing for 11 years professionally.
Okay. All right, because of the way I ask questions, make us reverse in stories. Yeah. Why interrupt?
Yeah, and towards so I started doing meth at 14.
Yeah.
I quit cold turkey, no recovery, nothing at 18. And then I got into tattooing. And yeah, things kind of started taking off after my apprenticeship. And I started, the relationship I was in ended, and I started hanging out at bars more. And, got into cocaine, which, took me right back to, my favorite mistress, meth. And, yeah, I juggled tattooing and getting high for a while until I couldn't. And, not getting high was not an option for me. But anyways, yeah, we go back to, I'm like a few months clean and sober. And I started just trying to relearn how to tattoo in, my girlfriend's at the time, her apartment. I basically turned her fucking living room into a little studio. And I'm like, all the homies in treatment are all coming in the next day with sleeves and stuff that I'm starting. And, they're like, you can't tattoo on the property. I'm like, I'm not. There's really nothing they could do.
Right.
And
it's my foot.
All right. Yeah, I knew. Sorry, the ego in me was like, I'm not getting a fucking normal job. It's not for me. And I fought tooth and nail with that. There was one point I was like, I'll be in LADC, as a lot of people do coming out of treatment. So I started a college, I did all the FAFSA and all that to do online schooling. I was like, I can just keep, because if I'm in school, I don't have to worry about rent at the sober house because they're like, you don't have to pay if you're in school.
Nice.
So I could check that off the box, and I could just tattoo at the girl's place, so I can make money and not have to pay rent. See, just scumbaggery.
Yep.
The only difference in my life at this point is I'm not getting
drugs.
high. Yeah.
Right. No drugs.
Yep. But
almost like dry drunk in a way. But
yeah,
you were working a program starting. You're just
starting.
Okay.
I was abstinent from drugs, and mind you, I'm still trying to scam unemployment. I'm doing all this just
scumbaggery
shit. Once that relationship ended, I was a bit of a whore in recovery for a little bit. Yeah,
tendencies.
To the tune where I got back into therapy. I'm like a year and a half. Yeah, I'm like a year and a half clean and sober at this point, and I'm like, dude, if I keep acting like this, I'm gonna get fucking high again. So I got back into therapy. I was like, I'm, like treating women like they're a bag of dope. Just doing whatever I want. I'm living in selfishness. At that point, I had to lean in and work the steps again, and that really provided me with I would say, more effective spiritual experience. We jumped to like being 2 years clean. I'm in a new like healthy relationship with someone who I was like a friend with for the first time in my life.
If you guys want, go back to the show with him and Casey, and you can hear that whole story in its length, and it's a beautiful one.
Yeah. And I'm an addict. Say we moved kind of quick. Officially, today is I guess our 3-year anniversary of us being together. And for the longest time we weren't going to tell people that we were dating because it was going to be so scandalous for the area. We're going to tell people that we're dating at Minac 3 years ago. I asked her to marry me instead.
At Minac.
At Minac. Yeah. And
oh yeah. Yep.
And yeah, it was sick. But like I remember seeing pictures from there, and I fucking hated like what I saw in regards to myself. By 6 months I'd say around 320. By 2 years I was 420. Yeah.
4 bills plus.
Yeah. 417 was my heaviest.
Ooh.
And I had just found out that Casey was pregnant. I had met other men in recovery who had Dusty, for example. He showed me pictures of when he was 3.5 bills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. How'd you do it? And he told me about what he did, and I was like, maybe
he researched, responsibly looked into different methods.
Yes.
Yep.
And I was like, maybe I can do it. If this fucking junkie can do it, there's no reason I can't. So I actually like went to the doctor like for the first time. It wasn't in an emergency room. And we started, making a plan. They wanted me to lose weight before the gastric sleeve surgery that I had almost a year ago.
So with that though, it's a situation when it comes to gastric, anything, when it comes to the doctor, like they're like, okay, yep, you're overweight. In order to do this, you got to show us that
on my sheet. And I fucking cried when I left this doctor appointment. On my sheet, it said morbidly obese.
To see it in ink, it's just
so like, fat you're gonna die.
Morbidly. Morbidly. But that's a deal. I don't think a lot of people understand this, and I shared about it on a video because I got a lot of guff about it, saying like I was knocking taking pills or a shot or a surgery. Like I was knocking it. I definitely wasn't. And I want to reiterate this is that in order to do what Donnie's talking about, it didn't just happen. Okay, surgery. Now you lost weight. Tell us what they had you do to show that you're eligible to do this weight loss surgery.
They told me I had to lose, it was like 36 pounds before they'd even consider it. And they gave me what I would argue a rather short timeline on that.
Well, yeah, you weren't ever in no position where you were going to try going on a diet, lose weight. You weren't ever prior to this ever doing anything about your health in that manner.
None.
And in order to do it, you have to put in some hard work, obedience, determination, sacrifice.
I was high off the fact that, I'm not getting high. I got, a beautiful relationship. Everything's going well in my life. And this is where I really realized living in recovery isn't just not getting high. Cause I had replaced smoking meth with fucking eating, and we would go out and I even think about it now to this day. What I would order is fucking obscene. I would get a couple apps, fucking the biggest ribeye you could get, and of course we're not getting dessert, right? And I would smash all of it, and I wouldn't even Like, all right,
Right.
I probably still have some ice cream when I got home. Like,
I get it. I get it.
yeah, and like I was like, why did I eat? Like, because it fucking made me feel good. It was the
Right.
same as getting high for
Mhm.
me. And but this is like a socially acceptable way to get that
Mhm.
shot of dopamine. And for those first 6 months of like trying to lose that weight, I fucking struggled.
You're swearing too much stuff.
Sorry. I struggled a bunch. No, I'm trying to swear less, and
I know you are. That's why
miserably.
you said some a few meetings ago about your verbiage, and I forgot earlier about 20 F's ago. I wanted to say something, and I just forgot. So
yeah,
we want to change who we are.
Yeah,
But come
I'm
on,
always trying to move that goalpost.
Interrupt. That's a valid interruption.
That's number 4.
Yes.
I struggled with like not eating like a fucking not eating like a garbage disposal and just like eating the sweetest things or the
Yeah, but
biggest
people
cut.
who don't do it's the in my world, it's the same as an addiction. Eating, you have to overcome that, just like we did setting down a needle, dude. Like people,
for sure.
And I respect it. Like that's what I wanted to bring this conversation up and try to like kind of put out a fire on my end of things. Is like I respect the hell out of what Donnie's done, and that was no shortcut, dude. It wasn't.
It wasn't a shortcut at all.
It's
no.
almost more dangerous what you did if you don't change.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Here's the thing, like, you know, it took me a lot longer to get approved for that surgery than it should have. And you know, the tattoo shop I was at the time, like, was super unhealthy. Not with just like eating and stuff. It was just a really bad environment for me to be in. You know, and because of recover, like my buddy's sponsor introduced Willard and I. You know, he's the owner.
Big shout out to Willard. Yeah.
He's the owner of Iktomi Tattoo and Piercing, and also Art Shelf, which is connected, and it's also a nonprofit you should check out. I
have links.
Tim will post the links. But you know, I met Willard, and off that like first meeting, like we kind of hit it off right away. Our stories are very similar. But he you know, he's a vegan, and you know, for I want to say like 6 or 7 months, you know, I kind of like followed his footsteps, and like I would eat what he was eating. And like initially I was like, just super cranky and ornery, and but I just knew that, like, you know, I was in that same spot mentally as before I checked into treatment, when I looked in the mirror, spun out of my mind, and hated who I saw. Like I was right back to that same desperation and not wanting to live anymore. And I'm 2 years clean.
It's a scary place to be at.
Yeah. And, you know, I remember at that Minac, you know, someone sharing their story, and about her saying she was 9 years clean and sober and wanting to die. And like, I knew that I never wanted to be in that spot in recovery again. And, you know, from that
big
point
shout
on,
out Jamie for sharing her story.
Yes, Jamie.
We didn't say last name.
Yeah, sure. You know, from that point on, like, I started walking because I could not run. It took me, that first mile that I walked, it took me 37 minutes to walk a mile, and I felt like I had ran a marathon. And you know, from that point on, like
the progression of what Donnie's about to talk about, if Snapchat, join Snapchat and ask him to be your friend. I'm serious. No, you can see a progression in there, and it's amazing. I don't know how Snapchat works. Can you go back in someone's feeds?
No,
I lied about it, but still follow Donnie on Snapchat.
Yeah, I started walking, and then
with when you started, didn't you have your baby? Was it?
No, she wasn't here yet.
She wasn't. Okay.
No. Right. But I started walking, and then peppering in some light jogging here and there, which took a while. And then, you know, for a long time, I got to the point where I was able to like complete 3.5 miles. And then it was like, I can do this in less than an hour. And then, you know, over the progression of like a year I lost like 83 pounds with no shot or surgery or any of that shit. And like it like fell off towards like the last few months of that year. Because I had really like leaned into like eating better and working out.
You lost a gang of weight before the surgery. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
And then December 3rd last year, I had the gastric sleeve surgery, and
Is that where they shrink your stomach, right?
they remove a bunch of it. Yeah.
So you can't, like, that's where I say it can be really dangerous if you hadn't changed your eating habits at this point. If you decided to go and do one of these binges, like, you could literally die, right?
Yeah, I could. I mean, where it's at now, my stomach's like healed up fully. But yes, in the beginning, they're like, if you overeat, you can rip your stomach. You can like a lot of serious health issues can arise. And also like, I wasn't super concerned about that. What I was like super concerned about and still am in the back of my mind all the time is like, you can stretch your stomach out again. Like I've known people that have done this surgery and like I never would have knew that they had done it because they gained all the weight back. And it's still like a daily maintenance thing. I've gotten into a pretty good rhythm, and when I even start to feel full, I'm done eating. But this been like that.
And a lot of that starts with Willard watching those eating habits Willard had.
Yeah, I ate just vegan for like a few months, and like,
what was that like, dude?
I can hear it in your voice,
and it's ignorance, and it's because I had no clue. But hey, he's on right now, showing some love.
He has put me on to some amazing vegan food, and I had never in a million years ever thought I'd say anything like that. But like us getting to get lunch. Or having Austin go and get lunch.
I miss vegan Donnie
all the time. Like it's just one of the highlights of my day because it's usually like the one meal I eat now. I'll have like a protein shake in the morning with like a banana or whatever, and then I'll have lunch at the shop, and then a super light dinner sometimes. And like I feel full all the time, which is also super weird to me.
I know, huh?
Yeah. And like anyone that goes, I don't know, like I still will like order stuff I don't need. I will order something just to have a little bite of it.
I've seen it. I know.
And then because it'll get eaten, like we usually go out for fellowship and everything, and like I know it'll get eaten, but I don't know. We're moving into a different space with our family now. Like I gotta stop ordering an app because I want a bite of it. Trying to get a house now. No, financially it's terrible, but December 11th will be a year since surgery.
Yeah.
I've been on this podcast in a 5XL flannel before.
I have pictures. You remember those pictures?
Yeah, I hate them.
I think it's important though.
But today I'm sitting here in an XL flannel. And an XL shirt. Just wild. So like I never thought I was ever going to be like looking how I do today. And now this December we're talking about doing like the skin removal surgery and all that. I'm really like it's fucking, it never ends, it seems, because like now I'm like I hate looking at myself shirt off. I'm dealing with all that. It's all like right here. I hate it. But
think about that issue you're having. Like it's a good problem.
Yeah, it's not like there are definitely worse problems I could have.
Yes.
And I'm able to take the steps towards like taking care of this.
Right. And that's the other side to this that I always like to put a magnifying glass on or something, is like you're talking about an issue that's arising that probably back in the day would have been something to use over, but like you're talking about, all right, going to the doctor, talk about it, going to make a plan about how to combat it, like following through. That's real huge about this recovery thing. I think the whole, not just seeing how we're going to start it, but the follow through.
But and like, I don't just want to like, for like my like feeling full spiritually isn't just showing up to meetings, being of service, sponsoring, doing like 12-step recovery things. It's being able to show up as like my best self in every area of my life. And, when it comes to my relationship with food and the glutton that I can be, where I'm at now, like, I still don't want to go to the gym. I hate going to the gym.
But you like run every morning, basically.
Yeah, that's not going to the gym. Like the running part is easy now.
Crazy?
Yeah,
To
which
say
is
that
like
out loud?
wild for me to say. I still hate going to the gym. I hate it up until I leave. Then I feel amazing, like often
Almost
better
like a
than I
meeting.
ever.
Yeah, almost like the meeting vibe thing.
Yeah, just like leaving a meeting. I feel great, and now I'm like having homies that aren't even in recovery, like tell me that like it's like inspiring them to want to do better.
Every time I see you, Donnie, it's inspiring. I make sure to let you know.
Hearing that shit is awesome. Because I'm not doing any of this to like be an inspiration to anyone. I just want to be able to like watch my daughter, graduate high school if she wants, or teach her how to tattoo. And I'm not going to do that if I'm, eating myself to death.
Morbidly obese. There's a place
Morbidly obese. Yes.
Hard Times Cafe. Have you ever been there?
Hard Times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. All right. So
have you been to Modern Times?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen.
Again, Willard.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
So real quick side story. I do this little speaking thing at a place called Fairview Riverside. It's right down the road. So we do that once a month. And I usually it's at 7:00. So after work, I got time between that and my speaking engagement. And I always would go there, like, because that's right where I went to inpatient treatment. And they got some of the best coffee. And I go there and get food. And I ordered a Philly. And I'd gotten it a few times. And it was amazing. So this one time I go and I'm like, yeah, just like you guys always do, green peppers, onions, and mushrooms, and the beef or something, the roast beef or something. I said, and dude's looking at me. He's like, you mean Satan or Satan or something? I'm like, nah, bro, I ain't no devil worshiper, like thinking I'm being funny. Because I thought he said Satan. Like, and there's some weird hard, heavy metal shit, whatever. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, dude, I don't want no Satan involved with my. He's like, dude, Satan. He kept saying, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, bro. Just give me a Philly. He's like, dude, the shop is vegan, bro. We don't serve any beef here. I've been going there for 7 years. Never a clue.
That's amazing.
Dude,
7 years and you had just found out it's vegan?
Probably even long. Well, since I've almost coming up on 8 years, I've been going there since I was an inpatient. Get the best, like their hash browns. They take a potato, a real potato, long, whatever. But the Philly, if you haven't had a Philly that's not beef and you want to try one, mark my words, it'll be one of the best you've ever had.
See, you shouldn't even tell people that it's not.
I know, I wrecked it.
People get weird.
Dude, their food is so fire. Their burritos, whatever. Just that's why I was making the face about the vegan stuff. But bro, some of the best food I ever had is from Hard Times Cafe.
For sure.
I don't know. It's sidetracked. That's what I do. See, Austin? That's okay. All right, so I'm gonna bring us a little closer to you getting to today.
Yeah,
because I'm good at doing what I do sometimes.
So yeah, I mean,
come on.
Like the weight loss journey has been amazing, and in that time I got rid of my jack-o'-lantern smile that I had via meth. I got all my teeth pulled. Like I to a degree, I feel like I look like a somewhat normal I still like my shit is glued in. I can't do that.
I'm not
like, I like look in the mirror today and like I don't like completely hate what I see anymore.
Did you used to? Legit?
Oh yeah,
you did.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of like scarier looking tattoos on most of my body, and I would paint it up as like it's cool, and I gotta like, but in reality, I had I struggled a lot with like hating myself.
Dark thoughts.
Paint me into the monster that I am.
Right. Not with Casey, but I think the previous show when you're on, you shared about that. I think you kind of really shared about that.
Yeah. And
returning guests.
it's been that was like a realization I didn't really have until like, I'd say like 3.5 years clean and sober. It's not definitely not like my favorite realization I've had. But yeah, I would get all these evil, scary things, just as, a form of like self-deprecation. I don't feel like that so much anymore, but the problem is like covering up. A lot of this stuff involves doing super dark stuff or like blackouts or like Willard's blasting over all this like evil looking imagery with some cool like
Quick question about cover-ups, and this might be coming from a naive person who doesn't know the ink stuff. Couldn't a guy tattoo you white and then go over that with color? No. Am I just being okay?
No.
We can't go tattoo skin color and then tattoo over that.
No.
You hear what I'm asking?
Yeah, I hear what. No,
is that
it doesn't work like that.
I like the smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'll ask the question so you don't have to and look silly. They're like, you hear what the fucking apprentice asked?
Yeah, like I'm trying to like I've gotten on in this last like year. I've gotten a lot more like color tattooed on me because I think that looks less scary.
Is there a concern about like when you're saying this, like with your daughter, or like just who you see when you look in the mirror, or what the
not with my
daughter?
I mean, look, when I show up to school, yeah, that I'm gonna get looks. But like my daughter has only ever known me with face tattoos.
Right. No, you're right.
Like this don't like her parents are heavily tattooed. Like this is normal for her. She doesn't.
Just seen what you did on Casey too.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
So yeah, I have no concerns about that. And where I'm moving now, like as far as like marking my body, I'm trying to focus not as much on super scary stuff and like
the color piece. I like, and Willard's great at doing big color pieces that I've seen.
He is. I wish I could show you more, but I'm not great at getting tattooed.
Does it? Why it hurts, or?
I think it hurts a lot more too when you're like really good friends with someone tattooing you.
So he's kind of
no. He is arguably the best tattoo artist I know. I really hope he's not watching right now.
Right, you guys don't. I noticed. Just side note here: these guys, when they gas each other up, they're all cautious about it. I got you on mute, not that one. There we go, dude. You guys are great tattoo artists. You got honorable, like esteemable plaques and awards. Like the population has spoken. Like you don't have to shy your head away from it. It's not a. It's one of those things about saying you're welcome. Like you guys have earned that, dude. Come on. And he just put a red heart up because, yeah, Willard, you're the shit when it comes to tattooing. So are you, Donnie. You both know you are. But I guess there's this.
Look, on a side note, okay, I will share since you're so adamant about me.
Yeah, very.
Talking myself and
get comfortable with it. You need to.
So Friday last week, we went to a convention in St. Cloud. And so like on Fridays, the only award that you can like go for is tattoo of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And Willard and I naturally have been trying for that award. He's gotten it several times.
Mm-hmm.
But last Friday, tattoo of the day came down to 2 people, and it was my client and Willard's. And I don't like. Who got it? Willard got it. Yeah. So
you know what? Though, hang on. Big up, Willard. I saw you a picture with like 10 plaques in your arm.
Yeah, I mean, I won 7 awards that weekend. It's whatever. But like,
shit, just 7 awards.
But anyways, it like in that moment, like he's someone I hold in very high regard. Not just like as one of my best friends, but like just as an artist. Like I feel like I ride his coattails pretty hard. And from going, 3 years ago, I wasn't even kind of ready for like competitions or anything like that, to where I've gotten in the last 2 years. To have my client standing up there with his, and it be down to just us. And we're in the same shop, and like I was just like hit with that moment of like, this is like I never thought I would get to this point in my career and life. And like, yeah, this is like, yeah. I mean, this dude, I probably spend more time with this guy than I do my wife during the week. To be honest, like, you know,
coworker, best friend, recovering partner.
Yeah, we work next to each other, and
this is why sometimes don't interrupt, because I was about to, but you answered it. But to be in that, the way you see it is like you're watching, you're on his level now. You are.
I will never consider myself on his level, but like
your tattoo was sitting on stage being voted up against like all the other peons. I can talk this way because I don't know who none of them were. So all these other peons beneath you guys who are all amazing artists, it came down to you two.
Yeah, and, you know, in that moment, it was just like, you know, in like we were sitting next to each other, and like, yeah, just like getting to like congratulate and give one of my best friends a hug. And like, just, I don't know, that moment was like one of my favorite things that's happened in recovery. And I that never would have happened had I not gotten clean.
It all comes back to that, guys. Everything you're hearing him share about, like, and he said it time and time again, like, that wouldn't happen if I wasn't clean. That wouldn't have. You wouldn't have responsibly went to a damn doctor, got your teeth dealt with, got your weight under control, got healthy. He's out there running, being a dad, being a husband. You're out there looking for a house. Like, I'm just going to highlight a lot of these big things. You're up here with world-renowned tattoo artists up on stage. Well, all right, have you been outside this country?
Dude, no.
All right, so nation renowned. I can't say world renowned. Nation renowned tattoo artists, because you have been around this country.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting invites to conventions out of state. You know, we've done a few this year. Because I just got off probation in May.
Hang on, that's the.
But yeah,
I gotta hear if this. Okay.
Yeah, you know, we're like getting invites to these conventions, and you know, this is just like, yeah, I remember in my early days of tattooing, like wanting so bad just to be able to be in the industry, and now to get to a space where I'm like, you know, people from all over the country are like wanting to get tattooed by me. That's insane to me. And you know, I just never fathomed getting into this space. And again, like, I don't know, whenever I talk about anything, it will always come back to like the 12 steps. And I don't care which fellowship I've done. I'm bisexual. I've worked in both.
I've never heard that one. I'm bisexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Both have given me a life I had never fathomed. And
Donnie, I have personally been in charge of 3, maybe 4 different fundraisers myself. Why do you donate so much time to? Before I know other people like the Just Hope Boys. I've been to. I can count that I just off the top of my head 4 other functions that I had no part in. That I saw your. Matter of fact, one of them I saw more hours you gave, but
here we go.
I know you give so much time. Why are you giving? Dude, I've personally witnessed you give over $5,000 worth of tattoos. Just gave them away for We'll Work for Recovery fundraisers. Rob's Dad Who's Dying fundraiser. One of our annual spring fling deals. And then I was at some of the Just Hope Boys things. I saw you gave. Why are you doing this? Why are you giving so much away?
You know, in my first couple of years of recovery, like I said, that was my full-time job. You know, I had like football team of sponsees. I was always like at the treatment center. Was going to meetings 7 days a week. Taking a lot of guys through step work. I don't have the time for that today. I don't. You know, it's not to say I don't. Like, I still raise my hand begrudgingly.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't have the time to give to having so many sponsees.
Okay.
Granted, you know, where I'm at now, you know, I have like 6 or 7 sponsees, and a lot of them are like, you know, have multiple years and are sponsoring themselves, which like is sick. It's such a like awesome feeling to know that I've helped play a part in someone's
Right.
recovery.
The ripple effect.
And they're very what I call low maintenance sponsees now. But I donate so much tattoo time because you know, like I've said 100 times, like everything I have I owe to recovery.
Okay.
And you know, I can't give as much time as I'd like to like sponsoring or going to as many meetings and all that. So I give back to recovery however like I can.
So this is a form of you giving back to recovery.
And you know, I spent so much time when I was using like fucking stealing, you know, via checks from stores. You know, I'd rob you and convince you it was your fault that I did it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and
bro, why'd you make me hit you?
Yeah, you know, if you just acted right, I wouldn't have stolen the dope I just sold you from you.
Like, and then help you look for it until we find it in my pocket.
No, I was such a dick. Like, yeah, I took it. Like, you know, I was big bad boy because I had a gun or a knife. Like, real scum of the earth.
I've got new sound effects.
Yeah, I see that. So yeah, I give back to recovery. You know, however I can. Yeah, I you know, that's the only reason I do that.
All right. Well,
I don't like doing it for. Like,
I know no pats on the back
all that you give me,
but that's why I'm going to do this and overtalk you and say like, thank you, bro. My good friend's dad's dying, and you put out something that helped raise a lot of money. Like, thank you, dude. Donnie, thank you.
Yeah.
And also to this place, man. Like, this place helped save my life. It did. I walked in here and realized like recovery could be different. And this place, beyond what people think, like because it's 501(c)(3), whatever, this place counts on money that gets brought in from fundraisers and 7 Tradition type stuff. Like 8 stacks a month. I just saw what it was to have this joint. 8 bands, $8,000. And that's just the rent, not the light bills, the heat, whatever the case is. That shit matters. And whatever your reason for it is, thank you. We asked about your higher power stuff, and then we're gonna start. You better be geared up.
Get to
we are. The kiddo's gonna get his turn. Just take
get me going, dude. I'll then to talk.
I know
the whole time.
That's awesome. It's only been a few minutes that you spoke.
All right.
I need to know about your spiritual journey. You did kind of touch on it when you talked about, you know, like a 3-letter word. Blah, blah, blah. Just take me through your spiritual walk since you've been in recovery.
Since I've been in recovery,
yeah. Because I don't know what it looks like. Is it play a major role? Like, is it? I don't know.
Spirituality, yes.
I didn't ask about religion at all.
Yeah. All right. Calm down. Yeah. You know, I spent the better part of, you know, the first 6 months of my recovery spiritually void. You know, my sponsor would be like, you know, say your prayer, and I'd be like, okay, and, like I hang up the phone and be like, yeah, I prayed so much. Like I did a super prayer. Prayer. Yeah. And then, you know, that thing happened. I got released and went to a meeting, and that's like when I like really started praying. You know, and I don't give it like an exact name. Like I like the creator just because, you know, creativity plays such a part in my recovery.
Right.
Like I truly like when I'm able to like, and honestly, one of the hardest, I'm jumping all over, but you know, for a long time in my first couple of years of recovery, I was convinced I was only able to create like nice pieces of art if I was like depressed or like going through something or like in this bad spot mentally. And I was just like, oh, I guess I just can't make cool art if I'm not going through some shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, over the last 2 years, you know, pretty much since actually tomorrow will be 2 years at Iktomi for me. You know, in these last 2 years, I've really been able to like break that thought process of like I can't create anything good if I'm not in a bad mental space. And a lot of that has had to do with like daily prayer. Um, I'll do like combination of like the third and seventh step prayer, where I ask like God or the creator to like help me be a better I say man, father, husband, artist, son, friend, and mentor in that order. Shut up. I saw it. Yeah.
Dude, you're unmuted. You pipe in whenever, brother.
Because I just since I started doing that, granted the mentor part was about a year now.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. I like worked that into that prayer. I've since I started doing that regularly, the like that mental block that I thought I had, or maybe I did, it's not there as much anymore. And like when I'm able to just like create so like freely, and I don't feel like my mental health is like holding me back, I feel more spiritually sound and my cup full, if you will. And again, a lot of it has to do with sitting next to Willard and watching this dude draw, to the point where it fucking irritates me how good he is.
The question came in is, do you feel that being at this shop changed a lot of that for you? That old thinking about I can't create unless I'm in a bad place. Because I'm sure I interrupted you. That's why you didn't get to it. But the part about being at this shop versus other shops, about it being clean, you share about it. I don't want to steal the thunder. We never did touch on that about what Iktomi is versus other shops.
So yeah, like I said, a mutual friend's sponsor connected Willard and I, and we kind of hit it off. We have pretty similar stories when it comes with our past, and with his like mission with Art Shelf, the whole thing behind it is creativity equals wellness. And I've gotten to like witness it firsthand in my life and how true that it has come to play. Like, I was all right at tattooing a couple of years ago. Like, I could pull a clean tattoo, but like I lacked a lot of creativity, and a lot of like self-expression. I could replicate, and I could like I said, I could do an all right stuff. And a lot of it had to do with me being willing to put pencil to paper or brush to canvas. And and then that didn't I didn't just decide to start doing that. I worked next to this dude who I watched just create nonstop to the point where it drove me so fucking nuts how good he is. I was like, I have to at least try to get to that level.
Right.
Like
is it one of those deals you hear everyone say like, oh, if you want to be a millionaire, hang around millionaires.
Yeah,
same
for sure.
And
if you look at, my art in the last 2 years, I think people would say it's improved drastically. You keep show me who you walk with, I'll tell you who you are. I surround myself with people that are doing for in a lot of aspects of life. I want what Willard has.
Right. Walking through this life with integrity and some
and eventually I want to own a shop. I want to be able to paint a goddamn portrait in 30 minutes with acrylics. It's nothing.
That, not hating, but that part that you're talking about, is it okay? Wait, here's me doing that side view. Does something like that deter you or give you gas in your tank?
It used to dude, I would leave work some days I'm fucking never gonna be good.
Done.
I was I would be bummed about it, but I got over my own pity party of I'm not going to be good enough, and actually started trying, and like, I'm not there yet. And honestly, I hope I don't ever feel like I'm there, but like when I actually have like it gasses me up now.
Right.
Like that, like I was saying, that
Gives you
tattoo,
more drive.
yeah,
right?
that tattoo of the day thing on Friday, like it felt so sick to like be us, like just the two of us.
So is that a two-parter? Like on one part, you're like, dude, I'm up here with him. But on the other hand, does it give you drive? Like, I'm going to get it next time? Come on.
Yeah.
That,
Like,
bro, you got to have some of that in you. You got, like, not like, oh, I'm better than him. But no, it's some humbling deal, right? Plus, it's a deal where you got to, like,
was
I'm
like,
gonna get
here's
him
the
next
thing. Like,
time.
I'm never like, I'm going to be the best. Like, that's never in my mind.
Yes.
No, but dude, being the best is not attainable. Like, it's just not.
Something to strive for. Be up there with the best. Bro, I'll put you on
That, see,
pedestal.
you said it though. Like, I want to be able to sit at the same table.
You are at the, all right, okay. I won't steal that from you because we all have our own process of how that looks. And I know for me, like if I start thinking that way, it's like saying I got this with recovery. If I know I'm over here, like I got this,
right? Exactly.
Then I get, same difference. Okay.
And like, to go back to your original question, like the more that I'm creating and like, and we'll like send each other like drawings and like what do you think? Like, what would you do different? Or like we'll talk about color theory, mainly me asking him questions. But and he will give me open and honest critiques. And I don't know, once I've like, got the fuck over myself and like stop telling myself I can't do things and actually like have been willing to try to be a better artist than I was yesterday, like.
Are you your biggest critic?
For sure.
Is it the same as like no one can beat me up more than myself?
100%. Yeah, I'm an addict. Yeah. You can talk all the shit you want on me, but I guarantee you can never cut me down as hard as I can.
Right. No, I get it. I totally get it.
But yeah, the more I lean into like creativity, and it's not just doing good tattoos, it's like it's me making art or like I don't know, I just feel like more spiritually full.
You're creating.
Yeah.
Dude, I got time lapses of Donnie doing some art. Like
definitely not in meetings,
I was
right?
just gonna say, I did break tradition while I had it focused just on you.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't care.
I know, but some other people,
some people might get real uppity.
We need a safe place to recover, and that might scare someone away.
But,
who are you, young man?
But so like a year ago,
Uh-huh.
That's when it like really started, and things were like starting to improve with my art and everything. Around that time, maybe even a few months before then, I had met Austin.
Nice, we're tying this in. Nice.
Yeah,
come on.
I had known Austin for a majority of the time that I've been clean. And he doesn't give a shit if I met him at a men's meeting.
Okay. Yeah. That Tuesday, the one that I went to.
Yeah, the frat boy meeting.
We get, bro.
Yeah.
It's a great meeting.
Yeah. No, is that what it's called? The frat boy meeting?
No, it's men's problem solution.
And that is over where they do Central Pacific, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Tuesday nights at 7:30.
Okay, because we do share about meetings. We don't have to say what fellowship it is, but we can definitely share about those and give them. Bro, if it helps save
I can tell you that meeting, like, I went there around 2 years. Austin, I was a big boy, right?
You're a very big boy.
Yeah. My sponsee and best friend Charlie, he's been on the show with me before.
I love that boy.
He told me about that meeting and like, going to that meeting, that like reignited my like desire to want to get involved in recovery more. And that's where I met Austin, and off the rip, I thought he was kind of a douche to begin with.
I get that a lot.
I remember.
What bothers me about him, the saying, like, if you spot it, you got it. Like, this dude drives me nuts in so many ways because he's a lot like me. And
it's true.
Yeah, he one night after a meeting, he asked me if I'd like look over some of his artwork. And I said, yeah, sure. And then I suggested he come into the shop and like because Willard and myself were always willing to yeah, we'll critique your portfolio.
Yep. Yep.
And there were a lot of good things to say about Austin's portfolio. But I also I fucking tore it up. I was really I'm not like trying to cut him down or anything. I'm just I'm very how I was apprenticed and how I was
give him much slack.
No, none, because
You were honest.
Yeah, honest. Not to the I didn't tell him he fucking sucked or anything.
I want you to be honest, real quick. Who are you?
My name is Austin Polizuk.
Welcome to the show. Sorry it took an hour to get to introducing you even. Usually what would happen at the beginning is he'd say, hi, I'm Donnie, I'm an addict. And you'd say, hi, I'm Austin, I'm an addict. But I didn't interrupt and I let him go.
Oh, it's my fault.
See how I did that?
Sick.
I'm a good host.
Yeah.
Donnie and I are both yappers. So
That's
fine.
awesome.
Yeah.
And scrap. Used to be scrap. Scrappers, you call it? Or scrapers?
Scrappers.
What was the term?
Scratcher?
Scratcher.
All right,
Yeah.
dude, I'm an amateur guy.
Here's the thing. He has not been a scratcher.
No, I was never a scratcher.
Yeah.
Never touched a machine.
Oh, so one of these uppity
was
guys
allowed-
start right up at
No,
top.
he's doing it the right way.
I know. So here's what I was going to ask based on what he just said. Be honest. How did it feel to hear someone tear your shit apart? Be honest, though. Like at that time, were you just like talk us through it?
I mean, at the time, it was pretty on par for what I had been kind of hearing.
Okay.
Iktomi was the last shop that I showed my portfolio to.
So Iktomi was the last shop you had shown it to before that? Or
No,
that
just
was
ever.
it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I showed my portfolio to many shops prior to that.
Okay.
And most of them told me, this is not good enough, or we
Oh.
don't want you here, or we don't have room, or, try this spot or whatever. And I was thinking about this while Donnie was sharing, and I've been thinking about this a lot recently. And I've been talking to my wife about this a lot. She doesn't believe it, but I do. Donnie stuck his neck out for me in more ways than he will ever admit, right? My portfolio was not good. It might have been okay for just some, hobby artist, right? But it was nothing compared to some of the portfolios of people that I've seen come into the shop and ask for an apprenticeship, right?
Okay.
And so I have to show my appreciation for Donnie and for Willard and for everyone else at the shop that allowed me to even be involved in that setting, because truly the work that I had to show was not worth it. So I'm just gonna.
I was gonna say, go ahead. Come on, Donnie.
Just put
Go
that
ahead.
wherever.
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
here's
garbage.
okay. Here's the thing, yeah, his portfolio had a lot of potential. And there was a couple solid pieces in there that I liked, but he it's not like he showed up with the portfolio and you got a job. He showed up for months. He'd come in on his lunch break and be like, "You guys need anything?"
I did.
Yeah,
Thirsty. I love it.
yeah. And just super humble.
Explain real quick what an apprentice is. Give the grime of it.
An apprentice is someone that
He's not going
works-
to use the B word, I promise.
Yeah.
that works under you to learn the craft that you're
I don't want a
doing.
dictionary. I don't want that. I want to know. Come on, let's.
What an apprentice is to me.
What was it when you were someone's apprentice?
When I was someone's apprentice,
Yeah. How were you treated?
I was their whipping boy.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
I
had
think
kind
you-
of a rougher apprenticeship than I would say some.
so I'm gonna just in a way it's like prospecting for 1%, not a 1%, but it's like prospect.
Yeah,
I'm not
sure.
gonna. I will just. I'll use icky terms. You're basically the shop bitch. You're the greenhorn. You make some coffee, get some more ink, get me some towels, get me this, get me that.
And for instance, during my apprenticeship, I would be drawing and I would be tattooing, and my mentor would be like, maybe tattooing is not for you.
Oh,
Mid tattoo, as I'm tattooing a client, I would get sent home in tears and
Did
Yeah.
that make you who you are today as a better artist, or was that not the good?
I mean, it did something. Yeah, I
gotta get Willard on.
I would
wanna hear his
argue
horror
like
stories.
yeah, it helped make me the artist that I am today. But like I don't know. I know. So like through Austin and mine's interactions and like seeing him show up all the time and seeing that little glimmer in his eyes,
That's thirst.
like yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I really want this. I saw a lot of myself in him when I was first like trying to tattoo, and I felt like this is like the first like real time where I was like, I really would like to teach this person how to tattoo.
Is he the first one you've?
First apprentice? No.
Yeah. Okay.
First one that actually, as of a week today,
Yeah.
he's
that's
fully
true.
licensed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, and
Yeah. As of a week ago today, he's fully licensed. He got through his hours. So his apprenticeship's like halfway over.
ooh, only half.
Yeah.
This is where the work really begins.
Yeah.
Have you put ink on skin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to tattoo supervise for. I think I did close to 300 hours. worth
What's
of
that mean?
supervising.
Someone over your shoulder while you're tattooing someone?
Me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Watching every line.
Was it like this?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, dude, he shook like a tweaker in the beginning.
Yeah.
While doing art.
Yeah.
I guess the pressure you gotta. I don't know. Is there anything that throws you off while you're tattooing? Is there something?
It used to really throw when Willard would come hover behind me. I felt like I had to stop tattooing.
Just because of the pedestal you mentally have put him on?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't. That doesn't happen so much anymore now.
It's only gonna make you grow.
Yeah.
Tell me about your story. I want to hear about you.
Um.
Oh no! Wait, we still never said what this shop is.
Iktomi?
Yeah, like do people sit in the back and roll bowls? Do I have to really ask it this way for us to explain what kind of a shop this is? Why we started a
recovery-
Narcotics Anonymous meeting in that shop?
It's recovery based shop. Yes.
It's a clean shop. I personally, but I'm also not that engulfed in the tattoo world to know this, but I personally don't know of any other shops where I can be like, oh yeah, that's a clean shop. Like that's a clean shop. And I believe there's another gentleman who donated some tattoo time, and I believe their shop is, but I just don't know. But I know there's not a lot out there.
No, there's not a lot. And I mean, yeah.
You know what? And big ups to Mars. Thank you. I tried to come track you down, couldn't find you, but thank you. I know you pipe in on the show. Thanks for giving that time as well.
Yeah, Mars is dope.
Yeah. Inky, another shop.
Mafia Inc.
Mafia Inc. I went to one in Brooklyn Park, but I guess they told me like, is that Silver Lake Road or Long Lake
Spring
Road?
Lake Park.
Spring Lake Park. I meant.
I
Yeah.
have all the answers to whatever questions you got.
Anything
buzzing around up
tattoo
there.
related.
Yeah.
So that's something really big I wanted to. I don't know why, because I was trying not to interrupt. But Iktomi Tattoo is a clean facility. Like there's no, it's drug free, and it's a huge reason why. Like Rob Herman, when he came to me, he's like, I want to start a new meeting with me, trying to keep the fellowship out of it. I'm like, okay, where? And the premise was Scars and Tattoos, and he said, let's do it at Iktomi. They're a clean shop, and like Willard does so much for the community, like in that art show piece. I just wanted to put a spotlight on Iktomi Tattoos. Like they come through and their doors are always open to people during the meeting. There's art supplies. I think every Friday night, isn't there some jam going? Every Friday night, there's what?
Every Friday night, we have free pizza for everyone, and someone in an artist in recovery shares like a 20-minute version of their story, and then there's a Q&A after.
That's dope. I still haven't been. Damn.
It's because you're here on Friday
No.
nights.
When is it at? It's 8 o'clock.
Fridays
What time?
at 7.
Starts at 7.
Yeah.
Speaker starts at 7:30,
Yeah.
and it goes till midnight.
Oh,
Yeah.
so after this, we could slide on down. I could maybe get pizza, or is it out pretty quick?
Oh no, that's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
15
guarantee
minutes,
it,
those
yeah.
boxes are empty.
So if I was a real hero, I'd stop at Lucha and grab a couple of pies and bring them down.
Yeah, I
And
mean
no one go to waste.
that's
Isn't
the
there
thing.
music? It all depends on.
Yeah,
who
I would.
leaves.
Weather plays a big part too.
All right.
Like
All right. That's me being me, doing what I did. But Iktomi Tattoos is a clean shop, and Saturday mornings there's a really dope meeting that takes place at 10 a.m. And Friday nights at 7 p.m. there's a dope meeting. And
Yeah, so all those meetings are held not in the tattoo shop, but I mean it's all connected. But I really want to highlight like Art Shelf.
art shelf, yes.
Art Shelf is essentially a food shelf, but for art.
An absolutely free community art center.
Yeah,
I've noticed. Yeah, you're right. It is an awesome spot to go to. And like, I put the address on here a few times. It's 1415 West 35th Street. You can walk up and the door's labeled. There's Iktomi Tattoos. And like, if you walk straight ahead when you're on the path to go there, it's that door right in front of you. That's the art show.
yeah, it's a non-profit. And
Is it a 501c?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Yes.
If we get Willard onto the show, we could get the 411 on all of this stuff.
Here's the thing.
He's kind of busy on Friday.
Yeah, he's not what I would call a man with a ton of free time.
I know.
He's he
he
shows up for his kids.
Of knowing.
He shows up for his kids. He runs a shop and a nonprofit and does I don't know, I would say 3 million other side projects at all times.
Yep.
Enough covering for him. I'm gonna have him on the show to tell us why he's so busy. Eventually, I will get you.
Look.
I will get you, Willard. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the comment section again.
But yeah,
the art show.
Again, it's a nonprofit and it's not what I would call the easiest thing in the world to run. We're always accepting donations and in the form of art supplies, or I'm sure Tim will put up the website where should you feel obligated to donate. Yeah, there's links for all of that.
Yes, they're just like Will Work for Recovery. They run on donations. So if you
100%
have it in your heart to, or you're able to, pick up some art supplies and bring them down, or just hop online and please donate financially. The shop could really use it. I personally have seen with my own eyes, little kids come in there. It's something for kids to go do. They get to create, and that's all due to a lot of donations and a lot of time that's donated by Willard and people at the shop. They need your help. Help them, please. See, you just got to come out and be like, give them some money, please.
Thanks, Tim.
Hey, if you can give, it's that easy. It comes back tenfold. Always.
Well, and truly, if you can't donate money, volunteer.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of time where we have no volunteers over there, and people show up for the first time. They don't see anybody around. They don't know what's going on. They don't know anything about it, and they'll leave.
Here's the other piece too, in being that it's a nonprofit. I'm about 90% certain, but I'll text Willard to make sure. I'm almost certain if it's a nonprofit and you have community service hours, you can get your hours signed off down there.
Yeah,
yes,
true.
Yeah,
it is true.
Absolutely.
So there you go. If you got clients, any of you peer recovery specialists out there with clients that have hours they need, and peer recovery specialists, bring them down there. It's another resource for you. Boom, boom, boom. Austin, who are you? Tell me about yourself, please.
So I want to highlight that my story is significantly different than Donnie's in a lot of ways.
It's your story, bro.
Yeah. Well, and I highlight it because I want to show that you don't have to be a meth head for how many years? I'm not wrong. Just answer the question.
No, 20 years, whatever. No,
yeah,
most of
you know
your
what I
life.
mean? Yeah, you don't have to.
I had a girl in here 2 months is all it took her to know she was an alcoholic and needed
Right.
this life.
And that's what I think is so beautiful about this fellowship. And that was something that took me a long time to get comfortable with, because I wanted to play that war story game. I
Mhm.
wanted to be bigger, I wanted to be badder, all that stuff. And then I accepted the fact that I am who I am, and I just want to share my story so that people can relate to whatever they can relate to.
Mhm.
So yeah, again, my name is Austin. I'm an alcoholic and an addict. And my sober date is 1/3 of 2019.
Celebrate clean time, baby.
Yeah.
Better than me.
That's true. That's the only thing I got on him. I take it.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
Keeps me sober. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of run through my background to give context. I was born into a very loving family. I have two older brothers. My parents have been together my whole life. I was homeschooled my whole life, so I was very actively supported in my day-to-day life. And I think that played a large part in my use later on. But as a kid, it was definitely really great because I got to do things that not a lot of kids did. Thank you. Like I was able to, we traveled a whole lot growing up, road trips all the time. I lived in South America for a few months.
Nice.
Had just a wonderful childhood, and it was in my childhood that my mom really noticed and nurtured my artistic ability. Me and my brothers were all very artistically expressive, and she saw that and she nurtured that as much as she possibly could. So, I owe a lot to my parents, more than I could ever express. Right.
Right.
And yeah, like life was pretty peachy keen up until I was about 11 years old, 11 and a half years old, something like that, when we moved. And it showed me a world where I didn't have everything that I thought I wanted anymore. Because, before I had moved, my world was my parents, my brothers, my trampoline in the backyard, my best friend Taylor. Like that was it. That was all I wanted. And then we moved, and, I was like 3 blocks away from a high school. So I got to see all these kids, hanging out with each other, right by the community pool, all this stuff. And, the one like best friend that I had was an hour and a half away, and my brothers were getting older, doing other things. And I found myself really, kind of searching for that, that attachment in, in friendships. That was something that I really, really craved. And so I found that within a group of kids that had ruthlessly bullied me when I first moved there. Right. And, it boggles my mind that it happened that way, but truly they were absolutely horrible to me. But, like a year later, I saw them riding bikes around. I had a bike, so I just, went up and just kind of hung out for a little bit, became fast friends, spent, all day just biking around town, just, being 12-year-old kids, 13-year-old kids, what I mean? And it was through that like drugs and alcohol became involved. And I should specify that neither of my parents drink or use.
Okay.
They never did. My dad's been drunk once by accident. My mom, like my parents would share a wine cooler like once a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
booze was not a big deal.
No. I mean, they came from families with a lot of addiction. And so, they were able to choose to go down a different path because of that. And so, I was kind of thrown into this friend group where people would, their parents were getting drunk every Saturday night, or, their brothers were smoking weed in the attic. And all of that was very, very foreign to me. That was something that I'd never really experienced. It was all new to me, but I wanted more than anything to have that community, to have that friend group. I wanted those people in my life. I wanted to feel a part of rather than
apart from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the first time somebody offered me, I mean, the first thing I think was like cigarettes, right? It was a Camel Crush. It was great. I know, it was phenomenal. But it started with, try this. And then it was, why don't you come out to this bonfire? I snagged a couple beers from, my dad, or,
right.
Then it was, do you want to share this bowl with me? And, it progressed from there to the point where, me and my friends would just, we'd smoke weed, bike around town, just, get lit, have a good time. Nothing real, exciting. You know what I mean? We were just kids.
Nothing real
smoking
crazy,
weed.
crazy. Yeah.
You know,
Doing kid shit.
But what it did was it started to kind of drive that wedge between me and my parents specifically, right? Because, you know, they wanted to know where I was, who I was with, what I was doing. I didn't want to be honest about that. So I would lie, and, you know, they'd catch me and we'd have, you know, all this stuff. And it drove that wedge, you know what I mean? And so as that wedge grew, the desire to want to, I think Donnie has said it best, get high at my parents would grow. And, you know, it just took me hook, line, and sinker, right? Like, and I was never really one of those people that, like, the first time I got high or the first time I got drunk, it was like life changing. And I was like, you know, this was the woman that I always wanted, that kind of thing. It was relatively gradual, you know, and there would be spurts within that where I would kind of realize what was going on, and, you know, see how my parents were looking at me, and I would try to pull back from my friends, and then I would get pulled back into that and whatever else. And it went that way until I was 15 years old. 15 years old is where things really got kicked off. When I was 15, I had my first, like, major surgery. I had a really major hip surgery, and to recover from that, you know, they were just throwing, you know, painkillers at me, right? Like, it was like a different medication every, like, hour and a half for 10 hours out of the day. And my parents were really cautious when they gave me that stuff because, you know, they came from a family of addicts and alcoholics. So they would intentionally, like, try to, you know, spread it out as much as they could, or, you know, do whatever, because they knew that stuff could be potentially really dangerous. And even, like, no matter how hard they tried, like, it got me, and it got me really good, you know, because I was couch bound for like 3 months, you know, just sitting on the couch watching Breaking Bad, you know, taking, you know, oxys or, you know, whatever it was, you know, just feeling good. And then when I was able to kind of get up and move again, you know, I would, you know, hit up people to find where I could get this stuff, you know, where can I get, you know, can I buy this off of you? Do you know anybody that's got that? Like, you know, steal some out of your dad's medicine cabinet, you know, the whole thing. And that was really what started me down this path of like self-destruction, right? Because as you know, as Donnie talked about briefly, you know, there's that, I don't know, you didn't specifically say it, but that self-destructive attitude that comes along with it, right? You know, I don't know how much, like, mental health played a role in that early on, but there was definitely that desire to, well, I remember when I was like 13 years old was the first time that I ever, like, considered, like, maybe if I killed myself, my life would be, like, my problems would be over. You know what I mean? And so, you know, this was a great escape. This was a great pause on what I felt was this suffering. You know what I mean? It was getting high or getting drunk or whatever. And it was shortly after that surgery that I, you know, I was the victim of some sexual assault, you know, as a direct result of my drug use. And that sent me down a hill towards self-destruction really, really quickly. And, you know, it pushed me away from my family. It pushed me, you know, away from my brothers. It pushed me away from the friends that I had at the time. And, you know, it kind of created the version of myself that I still at times struggle to not see in the mirror. You know what I mean? So my use increased. You know, I was there, you know, there were times where, you know, my parents would go to sleep. I'd hop out the window. I'd be out until my dad would go to work. You know, I'd slip back in, sleep for 20 minutes. My mom would wake me up, you know, like that was kind of the progress, because I didn't want to, I mean, I just wanted to numb that pain, you know, whatever was going on in my head. I didn't want it there. I was going to do whatever I could whether that was drugs, alcohol, self-harm, other self-destructive behaviors, whatever the case was. And that went on until I was 17, so my like hard drug use was, in comparison, relatively short, but it was enough that, my mom was in the process of signing away her rights to me to the state.
Oh,
Like she was over it.
didn't know what to do.
Yeah, they were at their last straw. They had tried everything that they could think of, therapies, group therapies, family therapies, tightening the reins, loosening the reins. There was even a point where my parents would hold on to my drugs, and they would just, give me what they thought was
They're
enough.
doing everything a loving parent. They didn't know what to do. They're trying their best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And so when I was 17 years old, I went up north with my middle brother to this party, and I ended up, well, I suppose on the way up there, I told my brother, I said, I don't know, like, I just kind of, was honest with him. I told him, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I know I'm in this bad spot. I don't want to drink this weekend, So if I'm drinking or using, I want you to cut me off, right? Like, I want you to be responsible for me.
Right.
And I get up to this party, and, it was this, kind of a small house party. It wasn't huge or anything, but it started with people, passing the bong around, and, I let it pass me once, let me pass, twice. And that third time it started to smell a little sweet. And I started to, I can't let it pass a fourth time. Like, everyone's having a good time. I'm not having a good time, so I started just smoking a little bit, just getting a little high, like just take the edge off. And that turned into me, just, getting twisted up to the point of having a grand mal seizure. Right. And I remember, hearing the story the next morning, I had ended up passing out on the couch and aspirating with my head back. Right.
Yeah.
And my brother was the one that was like, scooping this vomit out of my, my fucking mouth, trying to keep me alive. And then next morning he wanted to go home. He was like, we're done. Like, I tried cutting you off. You wouldn't listen. You got belligerent. Like, we got to go. And, no, dude, like, it's fine. It was just an off night. Like, it'll be cool. Let's just stay we were going to be there for 2 nights. And so he agreed, and we stayed, and I did the same thing the next night. You know what I mean? And on the way home, because this was up in like Chisholm.
Okay.
Right? So we had a long drive back down to like Rochester. On the way back, he told me that he was like, I'm gonna tell my parents, our parents what happened when we get home. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. But if you're going to, he asked me, he's like, if you're gonna go down this path, will you please just like leave? He's like, just pack up your shit and just leave. He's like, I'm not gonna be part of you killing yourself, And so I get home, he tells my parents, and my parents kind of said the same thing. They're like, you go to treatment or you pack up your stuff and get out. And being the, like the truly really privileged kid that I was, like I was 17 years old, hadn't had a real job. I didn't have any aspirations in life. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. So the option to me was, go to treatment. It was gonna be a 21-day detox. When I get back out, I can behave myself long enough so I can start misbehaving.
Right.
I can do that. You know what I mean?
Like, he shared about it. Yeah.
And
just go get myself right, so then I can start using correctly again.
Yeah. And like, I had plans to get high with my friends like the day that I got back from treatment. Like, that was kind of the game plan.
That's the move.
Yeah. And so I end up going to Hazel and Betty Ford in Plymouth. And
nice.
When I got there, I remember asking the counselor, every couple of days, like, so this 21-day thing, like, what's this look? Because there were kids there that had been there for 100 some days, 90 days. Like, there were some kids that had been there for a while. And I wasn't seeing a lot of kids that were leaving after 21 days. And so I was kind of inquiring about that, and they didn't give me an answer. They didn't give me an answer of when I was going to leave until like day like 63 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but what I learned, you know, because like my whole life, I was never comfortable in my own skin. You know what I mean? Like I heard somebody say in a meeting once that like they gave the answer to life, you know, the first day of kindergarten, and I was sick that day or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I never felt like I was gonna fit in. You know, I was, you know, whatever. You know, the voices were talking. But when I went to treatment, it was like everyone was speaking the same language, you know, and I was saying things that I didn't think anybody else would understand, and they did understand.
They're all nodding their
you know?
heads. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
That thing. Yep.
And so it pretty quickly dawned on me that this was something that I really wanted to try to address. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at the time, you know, I had high hopes of being, you know, sober for the rest of my life. Like, you know, one and done with treatment. Like, let's, you know, get it done and get it over with so I can move on and be a happy person. So I ended up staying there for like, I was there for like 92 days, 93 days or something like that. And, you know, did really, really well. I was phase 4 in treatment. You know, I did all the things in treatment. I was a stellar student in treatment, and to the point where they recommended that I do sober living afterwards. But I was 17, and there's only like 2 or 3 sober houses in the United States that accept minors.
I was gonna say, I don't know of any.
Yeah, there aren't many. There's one in like New York. There was one in California. I think there's one in Texas. But because of how well I had done in treatment, I was able to, the policies were stretched for me at a sober house in St. Paul.
Nice.
So I could stay close to home. And so, you know, I go to the sober house, you know, they called it more of like a 3/4 house. Like there was stuff going on during the day. They claimed they fed us. They didn't really. I don't think that sober house exists anymore, to be honest.
Insurance probably was paying for them to feed you, but
yeah, right. Regardless,
I'm gonna feel like a dick. I gotta lock this guy out real quick.
Oh,
can you keep going with this? So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
This is
do your thing, man.
Bullshit, but the guy keep playing the top of it. It's not. Keep telling.
So, you know, I go sober living, and I lived there for, I think I was there for like 2.5, 3 months or something before I had my next hip surgery, right? And you know, it was one of those really strange situations where, and I'm sure that you can attest to this, that it was kind of the first time that somebody dangled that fruit right in front of my face, right after I had made a commitment to being sober and was experiencing kind of the blessings of being sober. And so I ended up having the surgery, staying in the sober house. The sober house manager managed my pills for me. You know, like I thought I was good. I had made a lot of really, really good friends within the sober house. You know, I was going to the meetings. I had a temporary sponsor. Like I was doing everything that was kind of expected of me. And I did that for about, well, it was a day short of a year, right? Or 2 days short of a year. And leading up to the 2 days prior, there was this girl that I had known from back in the day.
A girl.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, you knew it as soon as it started.
I guess we're not so different.
Yeah. No, we're very
Imagine
similar.
that.
But she hit me up under the guise of
Finicky.
She hit me up under the guise of wanting to show her son, her like 1-year-old, or maybe even younger than that. How old are they when they start teething?
Like
less than a year.
Yeah.
10 months.
Yeah. She wanted to bring her son to the Mall of America and show him the cities, but she was too scared to drive in the cities, right? So she asked me.
Her infant baby?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. Seems kind of a weird. All right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And like she came out the gate offering to pay me for my time with Xanax, oxys and Malibu rum, which is the worst
Hell yeah.
alcohol ever. You know what I mean? And so like I knew immediately kind of what her plan was. So I set like a hard boundary. No, stop talking to me. Not interested. Thank you for your time. And then she hit me up later that day and she's like, well, could you just, pick us up and like just drive us to the mall? Like I won't give you anything. Like we just need a chauffeur. I can't drive in the cities, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I'm not all that interested, to be completely honest. I'm good. And, she kept hitting me up, kept changing the deal, until eventually, I mean,
It's girl, just she really liked you and wanted. I mean, am I reading this story right?
Yeah, 100%.
She wanted. I'm not on camera. She wanted a little.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You're not on camera either. Shoot.
Yeah,
You can hear me though.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah. So eventually, and I mean, it took longer than you probably are thinking it took. It took her all of 2 hours to convince me.
Oh, wow, you really held out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went. Thank you. Donnie.
Was it the Xanax or the Malibu?
Well, it wasn't the Malibu. I'll tell you that.
But what? You're 18 now, or still 17?
No, 17. At the time.
Okay, all right.
How old was she?
Older than that.
37. No.
Yeah, I think 23, 24. Something
Okay.
like that.
So she talks you into it.
Yeah, she talks me into it, and I went into
Like
it,
a crime.
with with good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So
Yeah.
I go pick her up, and there just happened to have be some thing that happened. So she was supposed to get picked up at like 3. I didn't end up being able to pick her up until like 8. So now she needed me to bring her right to the hotel room, and so I ended up having
Relations?
relations, yes. And with the relations came, she didn't do drugs. She didn't drink. Like that wasn't her thing. So I spent all weekend in this hotel room just getting absolutely twisted and then driving her and her son around the cities, right?
Good Lord.
Yeah, I know.
And so wait though, I mean, and me interrupting at this point. So this party with your brother and now this, it's like, and you shared about it before when you compared yourself to Donnie's story. And I know it wasn't a comparison, but like you even shared, you're like, hey, big bro, man, or little bro, whatever he was, like, hey man, I don't want to drink this weekend. I don't want to. Next thing you know, boom, smash, seizures, messed up. This, you're like, nah, you fought for a whole 2 hours, whatever. But like,
Hours.
I think people listening like understand this is what we're getting at is, and what he's saying is like these are 2 instances he's sharing about. Like he told himself, no, I'm not gonna. This disease of addiction, this disease of alcoholism, like that's what the disease is. We're telling ourselves we're not going to. No, not this time. I'm not going to. And before you know it, go on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was really easy to kind of play that narrative in my head and kind of live within that lie, right? So this was, a weekend before my 1 year, the whole weekend, my parents were hitting me up, what do you want to do for your 1 year? Like, are we going to go out to eat? Like this, that, and the other thing. And they ended up putting this whole surprise party together for me. A whole bunch of friends and family showed up. I got cards with money in it, all sorts of things, right? And I was going to sweep this under the rug. It was no big deal. I was honest with one person before I was honest with my parents. And, I was just willing to sweep this under the rug. This was just an oopsies. Like, I'm never going to talk to this girl again, whatever. Go to this dinner,
Yeah, I was completely willing to just completely ignore it. Keep going. Moving forward.
Every mirror.
Yeah, who isn't willing to do that?
Like accountability was something that I really, really, really struggled with.
Right.
A lot of us did, I'm sure. But I remember that after this, it was probably a week later or so. I was at my parents' house. I was in the kitchen with my mom, and she I was just like, this guilt was just like ripping me up, because I was still like having people like like family members, calling me, telling me how proud they are of me, all this stuff.
Nothing
yeah.
worse
And
than that,
It
dude.
sucks so bad.
Hey, great job, Austin. We're so proud of you.
Yeah.
And you got this thing, just this dark shadow on you.
just looming, And my mom, she asked me if I was okay. I was like,
She sensed it.
for
She
sure.
knew.
Yeah. And she was like, no, but like, are you really okay? And, I just completely broke down, and I was completely honest with her, and I shared the whole thing. And it's also important for me to mention that even within my admittance, I was twisting the story to make myself seem as good as possible. Right. And
Hell yeah.
That's what we do.
yeah.
I gotta go lock that dude out. Keep going. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, my mom asked me what I wanted to do, whether that's, go back to treatment or just, get back into AA or, whatever the case may be. And I said, I think that I'll just try going back to AA. Hadn't been going to meetings for a while. I'll try that and see what it does. And let me think. I started going back to meetings for probably about a month. And within that month or so, I might be getting my timeline kind of mixed up here, but I went to meetings again for a while and didn't get a sponsor. I had a temporary sponsor prior to this. I didn't talk to him after my relapse. Went to these meetings, I went to the easy ones, the big speaker meetings where I don't have to do anything and I can just blend in with the crowds and then just disappear.
Plus, there's chicks there too. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so I did that whole song and dance for a good 2 years, I think. I had gotten into a relationship at the time. She knew I was sober, but not really working steps. Like, I had gotten this job that was, the first like adult job I'd ever had. I was making money for the first time in my life. Like I was living on my own. I was living out of the house. I was living with a friend of mine. And I was able to live my life however I wanted at the time. And similar to how you had kind of supplemented, food or meth for food or whichever way that goes.
Yeah.
I supplemented women for drugs, whichever way that goes.
I don't know anything about that
at all. I believe that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was just kind of, I was numbing myself with women in the same way that I numbed myself with drugs and alcohol. And that ended up with me getting this girl pregnant when I suppose I'm jumping back in my story a little bit. Regardless, I got this girl pregnant when I was 18 years old. And she ended up because she got pregnant, she ended up getting kicked out of her house. So she came and lived with me. I financially supported her throughout the pregnancy. There was a whole lot of stuff that happened within that. And ultimately she ended up miscarrying when she was like 8 months along. So it was pretty far along. And, my world came crashing down. We had picked a name out for, this baby boy. I was like emotionally ready to be a dad. At least I thought I was at the time. So my world came crashing down, but I didn't get high. I didn't get drunk. Right. So I figured that, I was solid within my recovery because I could suffer through something that painful without getting high or getting drunk again. And, but I was able to do that because I was supplementing, drugs and alcohol with all these other things, sleeping around and, frivolously spending my money or, whatever the case may be. I was still supplementing that. I wasn't dealing with those things. And so that went on for about 2 years or so. And I had gotten into a different relationship at that time. It was very toxic. We were very, very, very cruel to each other. And when that relationship ended, I remember kind of having that thought of, I made it 2.5 years without, using or drinking. maybe I was wrong about being an alcoholic or an addict. Maybe
Are you cured?
Yeah. I thought I had, and like truly I based that on the fact that I was able to make it through the death of my son without, getting drunk or getting high. And so I figured I would try some controlled drinking. Right. And, that was something like now I know they talk about that in the big book. And I think I'd heard it before, but it never really clicked. And so I wasn't 21 at the time. So I found a friend that worked at a bar and grill that was willing to serve me. I went down to Rochester, bought a burger, bought a beer, ate the burger, drank the beer. And I was like, easy. It's cake. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to drink ever again.
I can do it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I can do it
Sure.
responsibly.
One whiskey and milk, we're good.
Yeah. Perfectly fine. And then that very quickly, within probably the next like 2 months, progressed to like me, stashing a bottle of vodka under my bed, getting blackout drunk in downtown Minneapolis, like doing all that stuff. And similar to, when I was a teenager, the ultimate goal was to, the ultimate goal was to kill myself, like to numb myself to the point where I didn't have to deal with these problems anymore.
And you guys, I know he's not saying this now, but he brought it up earlier. And anytime we bring up like suicide or anything like that, I did put the hotline up there. It's 988. And if you are struggling with those type of thoughts, please utilize that number.
Seriously, yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It just whenever it even gets brought up, like triggering or whatever, if someone's got those thoughts, like just please reach out or utilize that 988 number or give yourself 30 seconds.
True.
But
it's true.
So you start going back off the rails.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I start hitting up some of my old friends, let me make this relapsed amend, all this stuff. I want to prove that I'm a different person than I was before, all these things.
Right.
And I was too scared to go back to the pills. Right. I figured if I went back to the pills, like that was a sign that like something was actually wrong.
Then there was a problem.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, there were times where, I'd be drinking all throughout the night till I pass out, wake up still drunk, go to work. I worked in heavy machinery repair at this time, so like, there was some real risk to
100%,
this stuff.
dude.
And, it ended up with, me back down in Rochester. I was living in the cities at the time. I was down in Rochester and ultimately ended up with me, trying to take my own life. And, there was a lot of things that went on with that. But I remember driving home that next day, just kind of looking at the carnage of what had happened that previous night. And that was when things really settled in, that I don't have a handle on this.
Right.
It was easy to say that to my parents. It was easy to say it to my brothers.
But to me,
right. To truly like know that there was a problem was tough.
Would you say like your bottom?
Yeah.
This one, yeah,
for sure. And yeah, I had hit that bottom and I had noticed that it was the bottom.
Yeah, that's the cold piece right there. Is like once we admit it to self.
Yes.
Like, whether that's a step one or not, but for you, like you said, look, like realizing like,
yeah,
like that point where we're like, this is an issue.
Absolutely.
I can't stop it.
Absolutely.
So what did we do?
So I ended up calling my mom on the way up.
That's what we do.
Right. And I told her, I very vividly remember, she picked up and she could tell that something was wrong. And I remember telling her, I said, Mom, I don't think I got this anymore, and again, as loving as, she has always been, she asked me what I needed, treatment, back to just, meetings, like, what do you need?
She's your biggest cheerleader.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Everyone in my family. Absolutely.
No, I have a story real similar to yours. Mine's not like a lot of these other ones with when you hear the way they're raised, you're like, oh, you'll be in recovery.
Yeah.
Like, nah, mine's like, I had a loving parent, like real similar. So like, I get it when you're like, you knew you could call your mom and she'd be there for you. She'd pick up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So she starts being like, well, what do we got to do? What's the next steps?
Yeah. So I ended up going to the one meeting that I could remember where it was and like what time it was, and that was Central Pacific.
CP,
You know what I
baby.
mean? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
it looks like a pretty boy meeting you'd go to.
yeah.
Pretty boy shit. I think at one time he called you, what was that? FB. I don't like saying that dirty word, but he's like, oh, Austin, yeah, he a fuck boy.
Something like that. Well, and what's crazy about that is I have, a couple really, really good friends that have at one point or another told me that when they first met me, they felt the exact same way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just kind of assume that that's just, you know what I mean?
Whatever. So you remember
Um,
CP. So you go down there at the Thursday nights, right?
Yeah, Thursday night at 7, I think.
Yep,
I
yep.
can't remember anymore. It's been a really long time since I've been since. But while I was there, I saw somebody that I was in sober living with. And I went and made this really half-assed amend to him, hey, how's it going? I don't remember what it was about, right? But he was the one that recommended I come to this Tuesday night men's problem solution meeting. He's like, it's great to see you. I'm glad to see you back in the rooms. Come check out this meeting. I think it'll be really, really good for you. So I go, and it was the most overwhelming meeting ever. People screaming.
I was going to say, explain that meeting a little bit, because I think it's important for people who haven't been to. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that meeting brings a lot of passion for recovery.
Oh, yeah.
And that specific meeting has been around for a really long time. It's survived a couple location changes. There's a lot of younger men that are there, and there's also a lot of like old
long time recovery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
From an outsider who's been once, I'm gonna just say something to people listening about this type of meeting. It's one where you go to it, and like a lot of guys have nicknames, and like when you're doing introductions, everyone hollers out names, but it's always a feeling. Yeah, there is that overwhelmingness, but there's a welcoming feeling, and it's one of these things, like you said. It is a younger crowd, but there's people there with long-term recovery, and they're welcoming as hell. And you got a lot of these old guys that are ready and just waiting for you to come in to take them under your wing type deal. So like, it's one of those meetings I like to share about because of how you can tell how excited someone is to have you come check it out.
Yeah.
I love meetings like that.
Yeah.
Donnie was so gassed up, like, Tim, you gotta check this meeting out. Like, dude, but there's meetings you go to where it's blah, quiet, dull. And that might fit someone. Like, that might be perfect for someone. This is the type of meeting, like, you guys hear my energy all the time. It's this type of meeting that a lot you need if you think you're in a dull spot in recovery. But keep going.
Yeah. It was truly the difference between being sober and living a life of recovery. You know what I mean? And, the format of it too was unlike any other meeting that I've ever been to, right? A lot of meetings, speaker or big book or whatever, but this meeting, you anonymously submit a problem you're having in your life, whether that's in recovery or, wherever.
That's the only meeting I've been to like that too. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But
and I truly think it's the only one of its kind. And then people who have solved that problem get to share on that. They share, how they solved it, right? So for somebody who really like at that point knew that I had a problem, I didn't want, the lip service of, anything else. That I didn't have time for any of that stuff.
Right.
I needed to know how to fix this problem that I had
today.
Yeah. And while the first time I was at that meeting, I didn't even raise my hand as a newcomer, right? Like I just wanted to just hide, get out of there. Like I had done so many times prior to that. Just let me just live in AA without having to do any of the work that came along with it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just give me the gold star. I don't want the work to do it to
Absolutely.
get it. Yeah,
because that's hard and that's scary. It sucks to have to change something about yourself. But as I was leaving this meeting, meeting was done. Boom, I was headed for the door. This really tall native dude stepped in front of me, and for people that don't know me, I'm not a tall man. I'm like. I'm a strong 5'7", right?
And a half.
I'm not big, but he's 6'3", and he was just calm, cool, and collected. And he just, he introduced himself. He said, "Hey, my name is Wade. Do you have a sponsor?" I said, "No." He said, "Sweet. Here's my number. Call me every day for a week." And then just like passed me off. That was the entire encounter. You know what I mean? But and I hadn't heard him speak. Like that was the only time, like my first encounter with this guy, right? but there was just something about it, you
Yep.
know, that I was like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes at this point. You know, even if that means that he's just a temporary sponsor till I find
Right.
somebody else that works for me, I'm gonna call him, just see what he has to say. So I call him every day for a week, and you know, he just, what's up? How was your day? Great, cool. Call me tomorrow. 2 seconds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Easy. And then at the end of that week, he asked me to meet him for coffee. So I meet him for coffee, and he asked me, he said, you know, do you want to work together? Like, can I sponsor you? And I wasn't sure if I was invested yet, but I was in a place where I didn't seem like I had any other option.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it truly at that point in my life felt like I was going to try something different. I was going to die trying. You know what I mean? Like,
Hell
that was
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
And so I said, you know, sure. Like, what do you like?
What do you got to lose?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
What are your requirements? You know, kind of how does this work? And he had a very long list of requirements, and he was really structured. So I had to call him every day. I had to meet with him once a week for an hour. I had to go to 5 meetings a week. I had to have commitments at every one of those meetings. I had to call 3 other people in the program every day.
Nice. I like this Wade guy.
You know, and he gave me the 12 daily actions, like everything. And
You had no time to go get sideways.
yeah, dude, 100%.
See how
And-
God works through. See how that works. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and you know, and it was exactly what I needed, because it added structure to that chaos.
Mhm.
You know, that I'm sure, you know, 1,000 people have talked about. And very shortly after I had gotten back into recovery, I had gotten back to this, you know, together with this girlfriend that I had broken up with, that I relapsed over prior, and you know, all this stuff, and you know, everything, a pink cloud. You know, I was riding that pink cloud, but I was calling him every day. And, you know, I always try to like take that will back in little ways. It started with, you know, I wouldn't call him, I would text him. Right. But if I texted him, he wouldn't text me back. And the next day, if I missed a phone call, I had to tell him a bad joke. That was the consequence, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot, but it was enough. And so I would text him, he wouldn't count that. Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I slipped up on, you know, if I couldn't meet with him, you know, whenever it felt as though I wasn't as willing as I was in the beginning, he would just talk to me about it. Like, what's going on?
Wouldn't beat you up over it, but talk to you.
Exactly. You
Nice.
know, and he was always very transparent. I mean, he only has like 6 months longer than I do. Right.
Right.
And I remember that kind of like tripping me out in the beginning, until I did my 5th step with him. And he said, okay, cool. Now you can start raising your hand. And I'm like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I only got like, you know, 8 months sober right now. What do you mean? And he's like, can't fuck them up worse than they fuck themselves up. And I was like,
tell him.
okay, you know what I mean? So I didn't start raising my hand, I guess. I would go to these meetings and I would just choose to not, right? I was too scared, whatever.
Yeah.
Until I went to a meeting with him, and he went and found me a sponsee after the meeting. You know, here's this kid, here's his number. Boom.
He's a beast. I
You
like
know,
this guy.
He truly amazing. Like, I owe every second of my life to him, to recovery, and to the higher power that I was able to develop through that.
I'm going to cut you off and tell you, you know what? The higher power part's right, but you did the work, bro.
Yeah,
He'll tell you that too.
He will, and he
I
has.
know.
You know, because I've shared that sentiment.
But I get it. I get what you're saying.
Truly, you know, he was able to.
I'm good at interrupting.
Really good at it. I don't mind. Really?
No, dude, I'm at like
Wow.
15, bro.
But he was probably the first person that I had truly. Well, he was the first man that I had met that I was able to feel comfortable being emotionally intimate with.
Okay.
And it was because of the tools that he so freely gave to me that he had learned from his sponsor that allowed me to do that.
Ripple effect.
Yeah. And so, you know, because I had to go to all these meetings a week, you know, I was going to a variety of meetings, and only one of them was an all men's meeting. Right. And there came a point in time in which I started to notice the girls more than I noticed the message. And I, was able to talk to my sponsor about it and decided that, hey, maybe that's something I should, really focus on a little bit more. This relationship isn't really helping this process anymore. My girlfriend at the time was, I mean, she wanted to spend more time with me than my recovery allowed. And she'd be upset when that didn't happen. So, maybe it's time for me to restructure my life a little bit. And I was pretty like elbow deep in recovery at that point.
Mhm.
So everything else, like I missed my brother's birthday for meetings,
Yeah.
like all
Recovery comes first.
absolutely. And so, yeah, I started going to this Tuesday night men's meeting, and I checked out a few other men's meetings that, didn't really give me what I was looking for. But I found a lot more comfort within myself and within my recovery to just be around men. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
yeah, it at the time for me, and it, to this day, I'm an easily distracted person in a lot of ways. And when it comes to recovery, it's important for me to be as focused as I can. Right. And that's happened in things I've become distracted even within the men's meeting,
I
the
get it.
fellowship of it, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. But yeah, I slowly, with the help of my sponsor and, my family and my friends, I was able to make these really subtle changes that ultimately ended up with me go from being, living a life of sobriety to living a life of recovery. You know what I mean? And, I mean, since then, I've changed careers. I
You were a heavy machine mechanic or operator?
Yeah, I was a mechanic. So I worked specifically in the printing industry.
Okay.
And that was set up like I had the owner of this company was offering me this company when he retired. You know what I mean? Like I was traveling all around the world for this. I was making really good money. I afforded my life with this. It was great. I thought that this was what I was going to do. You know what I mean? And, I ended up meeting my wife at the time, or my wife now,
Yeah.
who I had actually met in treatment. See, me and Donnie got the thing going on.
Hand me that worksheet in front of you.
I didn't meet my wife at treatment.
I know. You played the game.
You played the game.
Never mind. I did meet her. I was technically in treatment when I met her.
Nah.
There you go.
So you think you're gonna what? All right. So that career and what ultimately made you make that choice? Be like, all right, this really luxurious life I could have financially. I'm gonna go do tattoos.
Yeah. So
which can be very financially rewarding, but
not in the beginning.
No, I imagine not.
Much.
As a shop, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were a few things that played a part in that. The first was just plain burnout with what I was doing. Because at the time of me leaving, my boss was, he's like 76, 74 at this point. So he's taking Fridays off. He's taking Mondays off. He's not there as much. I'm taking more responsibility over, all this stuff. So I was working like 65, 70 hours a week, I was never home. I was just exhausted. I was just burnt out. And at that point, and this will tie in, I promise, at the point, my recovery had become second to work.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, I had started dating my now wife, and, I was just so busy with all these things. I didn't go to as many meetings. I would hit my Tuesday night meeting, wouldn't really call my sponsor as much. I had sponsees, but, they weren't really filling the cup in the way that they used to, just working with others, all this stuff. And, things just slowly started to slip.
Yeah.
My mental health started going downhill. And things just kind of started falling apart inside myself. And I was unwilling to talk about it. There was a whole lot of baggage that I carried with me through recovery that at the time didn't seem like it mattered. Right.
Okay.
You know, I had dealt with the drink thing, the drug thing, all this other stuff I don't really need to worry about. And I remember having a few conversations with my, my then girlfriend, my now wife, maybe I should get back into therapy, maybe I should start getting on medication again, because those thoughts of self-harm and suicide creep back up. And I was barely sleeping, I'd be getting like 2-3 hours of sleep at night. I was just not in a good headspace. And then somebody dangled a fruit in front of my face again. And this was not drugs or alcohol. This was a woman. I had been with my wife for like 2 years at this point. And this long-term friend of mine that I'd known from back in the day, we'd chat here and there. We start talking more. Like up to this point, it had always been platonic, and we never really had, what I mean? It was platonic. We were just friends, like whatever.
Yep.
And so I made my wife's engagement band and wedding ring.
Okay.
And while I would be working in the garage, I'd be Snapchatting people and talking to this girl named Alexis. And I remember that there was a really distinct shift in our communication when I told her that I was going to be getting engaged. I'm going to propose to Mary, whatever. And that quickly progressed into me being unfaithful with my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was really good at justifying it. I was really good at, making up whatever excuse I needed to justify it to myself, to, whatever. But, in the same way that I justified my use through drugs and alcohol, I could, justify anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're good at that.
And, as long as I didn't have to deal with this stuff that I didn't want to deal with, I would do whatever it took.
Mm-hmm.
And, unfortunately, there's a lot of sexual trauma in my life. And that was the one kind of piece of the puzzle that I hadn't dealt with at the time. And so I ended up, it turned into about a 6-month affair. And, I was lying to my wife all the time,
Before we go further, looking back right now, could you answer what was the shift for you? Was it that you started slowing down on your recovery, or was it do you know the answer to what the shift was, where, I don't know if I want to say recovery stopped being the front seat. Life was going so good, and then all of a sudden there's some shift. Do you know what that was, looking back on it now?
Yeah, the shift was probably 1.5 years prior to this happening. You know what I mean? The shift was when my 5 meetings a week turned into 3 meetings a week, turned into 1 meeting a week.
Recovery started slowing down.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
keep going. 6 months unfaithful, and
yeah. And it ends with this girl getting pregnant, right? And so it started about 3 months before I got married, ended 3 months after I got married. And when my wife and I got married was probably the lowest point for me, besides, the aftermath and the consequences. But I was barely holding it together. You know what I mean?
I imagine.
And
it's living 2 lives.
Yeah. And it was there were times in which I almost wished that I had been drunk while I was doing these things.
Bet.
I could so much more easily justify it and feel like I was coming out the good.
You have something to blame it on.
Yeah. And but my sobriety was too important to give that up. You know what I mean? So I would rather just burn everything else down in my life than give that. It's
kind of like the drunken horse thief thing. It's like, take away the drunkenness, you still got the horse thief. Like, it would have been nice to blame it on the booze, but it's
100%. 100%.
So 3 months go by after being married, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bump the punchline, but let you tell it.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. Yeah. How do we come to this one?
So,
okay.
Again, I tried taking my life because again, that's the easy way out.
Easy
That's
out,
the scapegoat. Post
I'm
the
gonna throw
number,
that.
that'd
I'm
be
gonna
great.
put that hotline back up
Please
there
do.
too. I don't know why it came
Please
back
do.
down, but yeah, if you are struggling with any of those type of thoughts Austin's talking about, like, utilize that number 988. Give yourself some time. Please reach out. But come on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so my wife still doesn't know at this point. My parents, nobody knows at this point. And the cat came out of the bag when Alexis told me, you tell your wife or I'm going to tell your wife, right? Because there's this kid coming into this world.
Ooh, yeah.
There's no way you're going to hide that. Make the call. And there's no way I'm going to let her tell my wife, right? So I first spoke with my sponsor, and I spoke with some of my really, really, really trusted friends, like the ones that I knew, like Donnie and
right. Someone that you're close. Yeah. People you trust and
tell me what I need to hear, no matter what. And
whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. And my friend Connor tells me that I should take action, essentially. Do the one thing that I can be in control of, and it's my action. So take action. Just tell her.
Meaning, yeah. Is that what basically the sponsor told you to?
Mm-hmm.
Tell her. Yep. Oh, they tell us that. I'm feeling dude. I'm feeling it. Like that feeling. And that's what they're going to say. And you knew what you knew.
Yeah.
You knew, right?
Absolutely.
Like you knew what you needed to do. Oh, bro, that feeling. It's
yeah. And I'll tell you what, like even after he told me, and even after this ultimatum, there was still, my mind was spinning, trying to figure out a way to get out of this. Right. And, but take the action, be honest, because that's the only way that I'm going to survive this, whether my marriage survives or not. Like the only way I'm going to survive is by being honest. So I do. And, I'm as honest as I could with everything that happened. And, I did my best not to justify anything. I stuck to the facts. Like, here are my cards. Like, take a look at them and you get to kind of decide what happened from there. And fortunately for me, my wife is a rock star of a human being, and decided that, she made a commitment to me in front of a witness. Mm-hmm. And my sponsor actually officiated my wedding, under God, like all these things, that she was committed to me for the rest of our lives. And she was going to stand by that, regardless of the decision that I had made. And so, we set some pretty hard boundaries, go to therapy, get on medication, deal with this stuff, talk about this stuff, maybe try a different fellowship for these other things you're struggling with, share your location, all these things. And, I was I was a yes man at that point, because I wanted my marriage more than anything else.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I still wasn't sure, like, where this child was going to fit into that. But my wife pretty quickly told me, she said, you're going to be the best father that you can be to this child. This child didn't deserve anything other than the best that you can offer.
You married a good woman.
Absolutely, dude. So not only did she want me to be the best father that I could be to this baby girl, but she was also going to be the best mother that she could be to this baby girl. Right.
Nice.
Which is something that, like, it honestly, it blows my mind even thinking about it now, that somebody could have such love and compassion in such a horrible, horrible situation, to be able to separate the action that I made.
And some feeling like, yeah.
She is an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. And we actually just recently celebrated 2 years married, which is wonderful, and Donnie actually tattooed her initial on my finger for that anniversary. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, since then, I decided that there had to be some pretty serious changes in my life. First of which, that recovery had to be back on top, because without recovery, I was going to be no good to anybody. The second was that I had to choose to do something that I was passionate about, which was not what I was doing for work at the time. It was just, burning me out too much. It was just too exhausting. So, that career change became to try to become a tattooer. That had been a lifelong dream of mine, but I never thought that, I could do it. I didn't think my parents would be accepting of it. It just felt like a pipe dream.
Right.
Truly, I didn't think all these things. And, but my wife said, this is something you've always wanted to do. Like, we're in a place where it's feasible. Like, it's going to be tough, but it's feasible. So, I want you to do it. And she supported me in quitting my job and spending like 6 months before I found an apprenticeship, just looking for an apprenticeship. And I would just stay at home, just drawing and I mean, up to this point, I probably hadn't drawn like a complete picture in almost 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, when I was a teenager, I was drawing constantly, but at this point I hadn't finished a piece in like a decade. And like what Donnie was saying, like, it truly felt like I wasn't able to create, like, there was that mental block. I wasn't able to create something if I wasn't in the depths of my depression, in the depths of, whatever. So that was something that was really hard that I had to try to get over. But she, continued to encourage and support me through that. And, I checked out a bunch of studios, showed my portfolio to a lot of artists, heard a lot of no's. And like Donnie had mentioned, I had known him prior to me asking for this apprenticeship. And
from that meeting, the Tuesday night meeting?
From that meeting, okay. Yeah. And like, we knew of each other. Like, I don't think we had spoken prior to this.
Not much.
No. This is how I knew him. He would show up to this meeting with his cronies. They would stand about 15 feet away from everyone else smoking cigarettes. Mm-hmm. Just before the meeting, when this would start, they would go in together. They would sit in the same spot, way at the back, away from all the rowdy people. The meeting would go on, and then they would get up as a group, and they would get into their vehicles and leave. That was it. And to be fair, I didn't try very hard to get to know them either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It wasn't that welcoming.
It's true. True. But Donnie was accepting, was it 2 or 3 years?
I think 3.
He was accepting, a chip at that meeting, and he let slip that he was an award-winning artist. And I was like, that's it. This is my ticket to success. And so I went up to him.
No, wait, brother.
Yeah. I went up to him after the meeting, and I didn't even ask him if he would like apprentice me. I said, do you know any shops that are looking for an apprentice? Right. Because I was too scared to be honest. So I wasn't. And he told me, yeah, like without even a second thought, bring your stuff into the shop and we'll take a look at it.
Nice.
And so I did. I brought in what I had. And, they said, we're not really in a place where we can have an apprentice right now, but, you're welcome to hang out.
I was forthcoming about. Like, I was like, I'm not promising you anything. Like, but like, come by, we'll gladly take a look at your stuff and see where you're at.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings us to the part earlier where we shared about him bringing in the stuff, and you guys were brutally honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so I brought in my portfolio, and I remember when I was looking for an apprenticeship, I was feeling really discouraged and, was having a hard time doing it. So I was talking to my sponsor about it. And what he told me to do before I went into any studio was to just pray for the willingness to tell them where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Sponsorship,
and
maybe.
I remember driving to Iktomi with my wife, and I had picked her up from work. I had left work, picked her up from work. We'd gone there, and I remember I was so nervous. I was out like shaking. You know what I mean? Like I was having like a hard time regulating my breathing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I walked in, and Willard asked me if I was Donnie's probation officer first. Hilarious. And then he
God, I don't miss that.
And yeah, Donnie was in the middle of a tattoo at the time, but he stopped what he was doing, introduced me to Willard, and had everyone just kind of take a peek at my work.
Stopped everyone working to kind of look at it.
Yeah, it's true. He did. And yeah, and then Willard kind of, you know, shared with me that, like, you know, we're not really in a spot where, you know, we're really looking for an apprentice right now, but we have this art center. You know, you're more than welcome to spend time there. You know, just keep coming back. Just keep spending time here. And
Willard was forthcoming about that too. Just keep coming. Just keep. All right.
Absolutely. There was definitely no there was no dishonesty.
And like you had, like, if I'm hearing you right, like your wife, your parents, like your friends, people support you on this journey, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But there was for like 6 months. There was just never. It was never like you're gonna get an apprenticeship.
No,
it was
no guarantee.
And we made that adamant.
Yeah,
because it was
right.
It was true.
Right, and you can't have that on your shoulders, making some empty promises you can't fulfill.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, and then that
honesty is what we get to do nowadays. Sucks sometimes.
But I mean, and you know, honestly, I feel like apprenticeships should go this way. But like, he showed up every other day, at least, on a hope and a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And there was never even talks about him apprenticing for months. He just was like, "Hey, what do you need?"
I can't remember a single Saturday that I've been there where I haven't seen him there.
Well, yeah, now he is required to be there.
Yeah. I'm talking a couple years now, right?
Yeah,
like 2 at least.
Yeah, I can't even remember if you officially offered me an apprenticeship when you first asked me to start opening the meeting. Like opening the shop for the meeting. If
remember,
that just comes with me in the shop
because you were just kind of like a hang around.
Yeah,
and then you like got a key.
Just like a motorcycle
before you got an apprenticeship.
Just like a motorcycle club. You was a hang around.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, and like truly, like I was okay with kind of whatever at that point, because I had gone back to work. You know, I had, you know, we were just running out of money, so I because I could kind of make my own schedule. I would start work at like 4 a.m.
Nice.
And so I would work until about 10, and then I would go home because I live in Stillwater. I worked in Northeast. I'd go to work, leave at about 10, drive home, shower, change. Sometimes I wouldn't. Drive back up to the cities, and then I would and then I would be there, you know, as long as I could, you know. And it, like, the way that I kind of framed it in my mind was, you know, what I felt like I lacked in artistic ability, I could make up for with just effort. You know what I mean? Like, even if I don't get an apprenticeship, if they just let me, you know, just clean the shop, that's something, you know. And if I keep showing up, eventually they're going to ask me to grab a broom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Drive, baby.
And so, yeah, that it was like 6 months of that. And it was either just before Donnie officially offered me an apprenticeship or just after that I decided that I couldn't keep working. You know, I was just too much. I wanted to have more time to be at the studio. I was just exhausted. I couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So I quit my job and just dedicated all my time to being at Iktomi. And you know, it was really tough in the beginning because there were some, you know, I was this new guy, you know, trying to fit in with a pretty tight knit group of people is what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, it started very slow, you know, and that was what Donnie told me when he offered me, you know, this is going to be a slow process. You know what I mean? But it started with just, like you're answering the phones, you're sweeping, you're mopping, you're making the coffee. Like, eventually it was get your bloodborne pathogen certification so you can set up my station and break down my station. And, hey, bring paperwork to these people and do this, just kind of do everything that wasn't tattooing. Right.
Starting from the ground up, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, officially like that. I mean, how much better could it get for someone who wants to get into this world? At a shop with tattoo artists like you guys.
Like, the whole 6 months hanging around thing, like, much like having a sponsee call you for a week, it's like you got to demonstrate some willingness.
Yeah.
And I assume I have permission to speak freely.
For sure.
Like, and then, in that 6 month time, Austin and I got really close. Like, now Austin's one of my best friends. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for him. And, honestly, a lot of it's because we couldn't have more different upbringings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been just as much of a piece of shit as I have in my life.
Yeah.
And
it's not, the nature versus nurture type thing. No, we have our own choices. Doesn't matter how we're raised. We make our choices.
And, he's been sober longer than me, but this like the sponsor-sponsee relationship is a apprentice and mentor relationship is
similar as hell.
Very similar. It's it's a very like if either of us hadn't worked steps and had a spiritual experience prior to this, it definitely wouldn't work, because there's been times where we've had to step outside and talk to each other and and say some things maybe we didn't want to each other. And that open and honest part, like, I will never forget, like, Austin and I had probably like a 45-minute conversation sitting outside the shop, where with offering him the apprenticeship, there was a lot of because I knew about all the things he had going on in his life, with the affair and the past, and I was very upfront with him, like, this isn't gonna, you're not gonna start tattooing and life's gonna be easy. And given your history, which is very similar to mine, like, there's room to be a moron. And I'll never forget the conversation, like, dude, if you ever relapse or something, like, please don't hide it.
Right.
Catching you getting high is a million times worse than you being like, I got high.
Right.
And I mean, with Austin, I obviously, in that 6 month period where he just showed up, we grew really close really quickly. And I definitely felt the need to take him under my wing. And I've had apprentices in the past where they're it wasn't like Austin and mine's relationship where we got to know each other on a really personal level. And those apprenticeships in the past didn't work out well.
Right.
Well, like I said, Austin is the only apprentice that I've had that has completed his hours, and
he's doing it all.
Yeah,
right.
He's doing to the best of his ability.
Following all your suggestions. So aside from
following all my suggestions, sometimes I'll ask him to organize the inks and all that, and it doesn't happen. But.
So aside from I don't mean to say shop bitch, but aside from being the shop guy who's doing everything for everyone, officially he's your apprentice.
Yes, officially Austin apprentice under me.
I mean, he's not over at Willard's chair or at so-and-so's. You're teaching him
on paper
tattoo.
He I'm his mentor, but he has learned from all of us.
Okay.
And that's kind of a requirement, because we're so the range of styles and abilities is very different across the board. Shadowing just watching all of us tattoo was like a very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something that gets slept on a little bit these days.
Busy man.
Shop talk.
I love it.
Yeah,
But
but
no, and it is getting into semantics of what the job is, this, that. But no, going back to this recovery thing, like you wouldn't be able to be any type of mentor at all.
no, and honestly, you know, like during my apprenticeship, and not even the person that I formally apprenticed under, but like the person that, like, who I consider my mentor taught me how to tattoo. They're two different people, but you know, he called me some very not okay names to say all the time. Like he treated me like shit. You know, I went home in tears a lot. And like, you know, it was just kind of like written off as like, that's all part of the gig back then. And,
Right.
you know, I feel like I carry a lot of fucked up ways to think about things to this day because of those experiences. And, you know, I mean, I do stand on the fact that it made me who I am today, but it also showed me like how, like, mind you, I don't fucking pat Austin on the back every day, but
Yeah.
like,
You have accolades where they're due, I imagine.
yeah, I mean, he's in my eyes, like my goal is to have Austin be a better tattooer than I ever am.
As I think it should be in any apprentice. Like that's what you do.
Yeah, and you know, he yeah, we're so similar in so many ways, but then there's so many quirks about him that drive me nuts.
Hey, I'm real sorry, you guys. Steve, you're the one I know personally on this. Go over to Facebook, Will Work for Recovery's page, or my YouTube, or Will Work for Recovery's YouTube page. TikTok has some issue with their AI moderators, and we said some words where they violated me about 4 times now, and I need to stop this live before they 86 my account. So, love you guys. Sorry about that, TikTok, but go to Facebook where they have hearts, you know?
Yeah.
Serious. I put up a hotline because of it, and we talked about how you got through it. But saying those one words because it's AI moderators, they don't understand nuances. They don't understand, like, we're talking about some solution here and putting up some things that could help some people. Instead, they're just going to 86 the solution part. So, love you guys. Thank you. TikTok, you are shit. I meant you're the shit. Read that one, AI pricks. They violated me fucking 4 goddamn times.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. Hey, sorry about that, Facebook.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys. That's what I was showing you. That was like, whatever. But yes, you're great. You got to be a good teacher, man. I don't know. I just tried to dive back into the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, having the opportunity, and, you know, I like it happened in the past, but things just never like really worked out. Yeah, whereas with Austin, like he'll often always tell his client that he's my son, and some of them believe him for whatever reason.
Yep.
But and you know, it's all haha funny, but like he. You know, like I mentioned last weekend, like standing up there with Willard, you know, there are other times throughout the weekend where, you know, like I got to see him do his first tattoo at a convention. And now it's like a very proud dad moment for me. Getting to like see this kid with his glossy, I'm so excited eyes, experience all these things for the first time, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, a very rewarding experience for me. And like, you know, he takes what I say to heart for the most part. He also takes critiques really well.
Really well.
Yes.
Are you being sarcastic?
I know. I was
No.
Oh.
For them, I mean, sometimes you
Some
like
people
to
take
sap
that
back
type
and
of
it drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, but when you critique someone, a lot of times it'll make them into an introvert. They go in their head, or they spin out over it, or they become prickish about it. But for someone who can take some critiques, like that's a compliment.
Well, and here's the thing, like,
I
yeah, I
appreciate
mean, I've tried to be like nicer than how I was apprenticed, but also like, for instance, you're gonna get clients that are gonna drive you insane. Like you're gonna have to redesign something a million times. There's been designs that Austin showed me. He's like, "This is what I'm tattooing today." I'm like, "No, you're not."
It's true.
You have to redraw it now. You can do it today if you draw it in time, but he's the slowest drawer I know.
I am very slow.
It'll come together.
Or he'll and I know I'm guilty of having a habit of expecting you to read my mind. So I'll say I'll give a very vague answer without really much of an answer, and then get mad at you for not knowing what I'm thinking.
Drives me.
And I'll do that.
Nuts.
I'll do that with him sometimes, just to push his buttons a little bit, just because I'm getting him ready for clients.
Although,
Doing sick tattoos is not the only part of this job.
No.
Yeah,
Dealing with a human is, I bet. I mean, dealing with the public, dude.
Yeah.
And the type of people that get tattoos are just no.
Listen, when people go and look at reviews, they look for the bad ones first.
Yeah. And the sad thing is the majority of people go out of their way to write bad reviews before they'll write a good review.
Yeah.
That's just human nature.
Not for you though, Donnie, right?
He deletes the bad ones.
You don't get no bad ones.
You can't.
6 stars on a 5-star
No,
scale.
but having the gift of gab, which he does.
I do.
But being knowing how to talk to anyone and make them feel comfortable and let them know that they made the right decision with coming to you to let you mark them permanently. It's all in our art form.
Dude, I watched 2 women almost fight literally. I still don't think they talk over a prize for our last fundraiser that one didn't win.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, tattoo time with you?
Yes.
No,
yes.
That's crazy.
It's not a break. It's just what happened. There was 2 artists that had time that they donated, and one was, I think we even ran out of tickets, and we ended up having to do some on hand paper. And the girl who spent more, whatever, is pretty certain that because those were on handwritten paper, that's why hers didn't get drawn. And the other girl said bullshit. But bro, 2 women, I still don't think they talk over it.
Crazy.
That's a compliment.
Absolutely. And he deserves all the compliments.
I know.
I hate him.
You can hate him.
Would you prefer the alternative? The other side of not having it be a compliment? Exactly. See, I pickled them into a situation that you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, that was good.
On some level, it's got to feel good. I know I hate hearing people, oh, you did this.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it feels awesome, doing well in a career that I love so much. And the awards and stuff are cool. In that moment, it's super sick. But then they go in a pile in a thing I don't.
On a psychological level, and this is from therapy, couch, armchair shit. It's because of the type of people we once were, the type of shit we once used to do, the way we used to live, and scamming and getting over on people and only doing something for someone if I was getting something out of it. We now are on this other side of that where a compliment or a thank you or an attaboy doesn't feel right. It feels like and this is like I said, and it made sense when she explained it to me on this psychological side, is someone pat me on the back because of my old ways. It just doesn't feel right because I didn't earn that. It's this old mentality. It's something deep seated in my thought process of how I used to be a piece of whatever. And if you're complimenting me, it's because I did something. You don't really know the truth of what I really did to get that compliment type of, and it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that's what's going on with you, but I know I don't like thank yous and I don't even like saying it's integrity because that too also feels like, you're going to sit here and tell me you have integrity today? I mean, you do, but to tell someone else no, dude, today I have integrity. It's something I don't even feel comfortable saying. And I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's still seems like a foreign concept.
Yeah.
And yeah, in therapy, which I still do.
Good.
It's often brought up that I can maybe accept the fact that I'm not a scumbag anymore.
Can't move on unless you do that.
And I mean, yeah, I'm working on it. I am, I'm very proud of myself and the, strides I made, especially in the last 2 years, in terms of health and, my career and yeah, all the accolades and all that have been cool, but like I don't know what means the most to me is like seeing those sick reviews that I get, like knowing that my clients' lives, like they feel better because of work that they have like pursued me to get. That's awesome because I spent so much of my life taking, not even just with like using and shit, like I struggled a lot with womanizing and treating women like things my younger years, and to be able to like, I mean, I do take pride in knowing like a majority of my clientele are women, and a majority of the reviews I get are like very safe to be around.
Right.
Like I'm like respectful. I talk very highly of my wife. Like, and that stuff does like feel really good because I used to be very different in that regard. And
I've heard some of your shares.
Yeah.
I won't break that anonymity, but I get what you're saying. And I think that should come full circle with other compliments too. It is something that I don't know you that well where I get to say this, but I know it's valid, is you need to accept those thank yous and the attaboys and pats in the back because you've earned them. Period.
Well, I appreciate it.
See how uncomfortable you feel?
I'm not that uncomfortable, actually. It's been a pretty chill night.
It has, right? Yeah. Only like 30 interruptions, 4 violations.
Violation.
Whatever. Dudes, you guys, we're going to start wrapping here. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was really like, I had me on here with like a sponsee, and then like
was the first show you and Charlie?
I think so. I was still a pretty big boy.
I thought you had come in before.
Wait, did I come in?
I think you came in before that. Then you brought Charlie for a show, but you came in on a free for all night back in the other chaos shit.
That's the location I used to get high.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with the dude out there. He's about 3. No, he's not here. I locked him out, but not good. Whatever. Hey, we're in that for him. Better here than there as I kick him out, but I can't have him in there wandering around. Like Paul's got too much nice shit that could just grow legs.
Well, yeah, and that's been they're like, I don't know, this cool thing with like recovery and like being able to show up for people still struggling has been really cool. But it has I don't like, I've had sponsees actively using show up at sometimes at like where I'm working, and like I don't know, I used to like react so differently to situations like that, but recovery has like shown me I think especially in this last year or so, more importantly out of anything, to give people the same grace I would hope for. And
that's a big piece.
Yeah, and the people that are the hardest to give the most grace to are the ones I think that deserve it the most. Because like if I was, I've seen people that I'm super close friends with, like, just do a shot of dope and then come like talk to me and like see him. I remember going on a 12-step call Christmas night to a sponsee that had just, shot up some dope and was asking for me to help him. And like, in the past, even in like the early years of recovery, I'd be like, I'm not fucking going there. Like, no, you're getting high. You can't be around me. Like,
I get it.
Working the steps and like getting involved, especially with having so many people like strong in their recovery around me, has really taught me, the farther along that I get in my recovery, the more I'm able to show up for others, especially people that are in the fucking worst spots of their lives.
Be that next Wade for another person.
Yeah.
Or be that next Terry for the next guy.
Shout out Terry White.
You should be extremely proud of yourself, Donnie. Austin too, even though I don't know you that well. Donnie, you're an amazing talent in person. It's been a pleasure to share rooms with you and watch you freaking grow.
Who said that?
Terrence J.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
A lot of people so proud
Appreciate
of you,
it.
Austin. Mary P. A lot of people.
That was my wife.
It's Aaron. Oh no, it's no, that's Mary. No, Pesh. Pesh. That's her last name.
Jose.
No, you should give me
Oh,
to say his eyes, but hell yeah, I'm messing with them.
What? These are all the comments?
These are some that came in on this.
Oh, shit.
Kane? Kane?
What's up?
I don't know.
Big
Yeah.
Taddy?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Word.
Hell yeah.
That's
Karen
crazy.
J.
That dude's a
Janstrom?
legend.
Which
Like,
one? Who?
Big Taddy
Big
Kane.
Teddy Kane.
Big
Yeah.
Teddy.
Yeah.
Good looking. Thanks for the support. It's because you guys shared it to your feeds, like you should have been doing. Yeah, Karen
literally
J. Willard was on.
Shout out always.
Yeah. Heenan Matt.
Heinen, Matt.
Heinen,
My
Matt.
sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Aaron K. I just don't like saying full names because whatever.
This isn't a meeting.
Yeah, but it's still
Shout out
respect
Aaron.
thing. Yeah,
Love you.
shout out Aaron
Love
K. Kibben.
Also, shout out Mary. She's a saint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mary.
she's the best.
You
I love her to
listen,
death.
Jess, and a lot of you guys that if I didn't say, it's not personal. I got, and on the TikTok side, if you did pump over here from there, like, I'm sorry about the whole thing with TikTok. I'm still
Yeah, my bad.
no,
It's not your
I'll
fault.
never let you apologize for that shit. No way.
It literally
If we got to
censored
stop
you.
saying the word suicide when that could save someone's fucking life, fuck you. I don't want you on my. I don't want to have to utilize you.
That's why I don't have TikTok.
Oh, bullshit.
Whatever.
No, but I've been following this one guy and like I listen to his lives and he's a scam baiter. He sits and he gets after these Hindu or these other people that are always scamming and like
Is it scammer payback?
no, this dude's Doc Compton and he's the business dude. I pay $10. It's the only app I've ever paid for. I pay $10 a month to have his app and I go listen to him like direct. But like he's called some of the I don't know, man. You guys, I don't know what's going on. Some bill passing since the government shutdown. Let me just show you, dude. You see this? I'd say, hang on. Here we go. Back to my call log. Since every day, and it starts at 8 in the morning now.
Just spam.
Dude, something happened this last 2 weeks. Like, I'd
Mhm.
say 90% of these, they're spam. They're all scam. Dude, they start at 8 in the morning. About once every 20-25 minutes.
Dude, so
Nonstop.
This is why I know that I have to like stay in the rooms and continue to work program of recovery. Because when I hear about new scams like that, the junkie criminal in the back of my head is like, damn, that's a good idea.
And you know what? Like, I know I was just talking to Rob about this. I know how spiritually fit I am throughout the day, depending on how I act when I answer them. Yeah, just they're frustrating, dude. Especially, I listen to books all day, and when I get a spam call in the middle of something I'm listening to, I just take it all personal. Austin, pick a number 1 through 100.
45.
Did you already look at these?
I scanned them.
They've been in front. Oh, 45.
I don't know what that one is, though.
What is your most used emoji?
Oh, can I get a different one than that?
You'll get another one. What's your most used emoji?
My most used emojis, I think it's like the pleading face.
Oh,
I send that to my wife constantly.
pleading. I wonder what that one
Yeah.
is.
I'll show you.
Because most people say the laughing face, and I got to say, well, is it the crooked laughing face or the straight laughing face?
It's that one.
Oh, no, to me, that's the shy guy. What's your most used emoji, Donnie?
Face.
most used emoji?
Yes.
The fire emoji.
Because
Fire.
you comment on all those posts with those.
Everything's
I
fire.
support everyone crushing it in tattooing.
That's my
And
guy.
I think there needs to be more supporting of others.
Absolutely.
Across the board, period.
Yeah.
Pick a number 1 through 100.
38.
38.
How old are you?
What's a
Sounds scary.
skill you learned when you were young that you still use today?
Priest.
What? I'm not on camera. What?
Drawing.
Drawing. Same question. What's a skill you learned when you were young that you use today?
I would say it's gonna be a little deeper than that. How to be kind to people.
It's not too deep.
Deeper than that.
Does this sound like there's a party going on out there? All right.
I just gave a short answer, but I know we were having a contest.
Comparison's the killer of all joy. Pick a number
Theft
1
of
through
joy.
100.
It's his turn to pick a number, isn't it?
Yes. Pick a number 1 through 100.
He's the host. He gets to decide what the rules are.
Tell
Pick a
him.
number.
Pick a number 1 through 100.
I'm
Don't
also
pick.
your mentor.
Oh,
68.
all right.
Nice.
Glad you didn't do it. As a child, What did you want to be when you grew up?
A tattoo artist.
Really?
Can I tell a funny story about that real
Yes,
quick?
please do.
So this is very early on in my apprenticeship. And I was feeling kind of sentimental. You know what I mean?
Oh, here
And-
we go. He
Come
just
on.
never lets it go.
So funny, dude. So I go up to Donnie. I muster the courage to go up to Donnie. I tell him something from my heart. And I say, Donnie, did you know that you're helping me realize a lifelong dream? And he goes, how the fuck would I know that?
You're an asshole. Good. You can be an asshole.
So funny.
That's so Donnie.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
so Donnie. That is.
That's not
Instead
even
of
the story I thought he
saying-
was going to tell.
Nah, you know what? Because it was something that hit him in the heart. So his
Yeah.
snapback was simply,
Yeah,
how the fuck would I know that? That
Yeah.
sounded like Donnie. You've been around Donnie really quite a bit lately.
Because I thought he was going to tell the one where he sent me this long text, which basically said the same things. And all I did was heart it.
Dude, I used to send him.
That's not true.
I think it
I
is.
hearted
I already
it.
know, bro. I used to send him heartfelt messages, and the one time he's like, "Dude, I don't sit and read them long ones." Oh no, it was
read
the
that
other way
out.
around. I used to send him a voice like
A voice
from
text.
the
And I
fucking
was
Yeah,
like,
that
gut, from the gut, like, "Hey, bro, I love you. I'm so proud of you." This and
I
that.
literally
And
send the same things back.
this man said, "Dude, I'd prefer you just text it to me."
No, yeah, when you said voice text, because I couldn't hear them.
Don't you have headphones ever? Do you not
No,
use
I
headphones?
do not do the headphone thing.
Dude, I
It
don't
drives.
drive my ear. I always have a headphone. All right, good enough.
I feel like someone's gonna sneak up on me if I have headphones.
Someone
on.
did with a knife on me today. Damn. And
Case
his
in
cousin
point.
was- all right, good
See?
enough. Good enough. All right. 68.
68.
As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
It's tattooer.
Oh, okay. All right. Don't
Like-
you have a funny story to tell about that?
Yeah,
One of
actually,
them. There we go.
no, my grandparents had a like greasy spoon restaurant in Spring Park, right off Lake Minnetonka.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I was like 8, I would always hang around in the kitchen, on the weekends, like just getting people's way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Basically
I
what I
remember
do now.
being pardon?
It's what I do now.
Yeah. I remember like being like walking through like the main part of the kitchen and like just being in the way. And this dude like stopped and like yelled at me to move. But he had like this full Gundam wing, like anime sleeve.
Dope sleeve.
Yeah. And then I think it was like Spawn and something else on the other arm. And I was like, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Austin, let me ask Donnie what number to pick next.
Nice.
27.
I cut. If you could instantly be an expert in a subject aside from what you are now an expert in, I added that part
I figured.
because he'd be like, "I'm already an expert in what?" No, he probably wouldn't even admit to being an expert.
I'm not.
See, I
No, he
knew
would
it.
say he'd
Oh,
want to be an
shit.
expert.
If you could be an instant expert in any subject, what would it be?
Ooh, day trading.
Bro, you just
That's
took
a
the. I've been looking for something to answer
good one.
that, and I want to understand stocks and shit. I just no matter Rob tries to explain it to me, Finn, all these people, I'm just like,
Here's
dude,
what I know. I bought Bitcoin when I got sober, and it's been working out.
Yeah, they said keep buying it, like it's gonna go up over $1 million. They're saying, and like that's 100.
My plan is to not touch it until she's
She's in
like
college
18.
time?
Yeah.
And if that's the case,
Hopefully it sticks around.
bro, figure 12.
Well, that or World War III,
Yeah.
$100 a week. That's $5,200 a year. Just heard numbers on this. You should be just fine in 10 years with Bitcoin. If you could be an instant expert in any subject, what would it be?
Either electrical engineering or quantum physics.
Oh, this dude, fucking Marty McFly over here.
Mhm.
No, Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc was a scientist.
Yeah.
Pick a number 1 through 100.
100.
We'll wrap up after the 100.
After one or two more.
Favorite reality TV show?
Oh, sick.
Oh, I know which one both of you ought to be picking if this is your life.
No.
That a boy. Come on.
By a long shot would I choose that.
What?
Ink Master?
It's so good.
Oh, I was going more.
What were you
Let's
gonna
hear it.
Come on.
I got 3 that are top of the line.
Let's hear it.
The original MacGyver.
Reality show.
Reality show?
Reality,
Oh, I
bro.
missed that.
Yeah.
Reality show?
Yeah, that's why I figured like
Trash TV.
trash
I
TV.
don't really watch
But I
reality
do like
shows.
MacGyver
I
though
do.
too, dude.
Does Mythbusters count? No.
I don't know.
I mean, it is like
Alexa is oh no. Hey Siri. Is Mythbusters a reality show?
Mythbusters is a reality television series that tests
There you
the
go.
validity of
Mythbusters.
timelessness and
All right.
That's it?
Mythbusters.
Yeah.
What's yours?
reality TV show.
Yeah.
Number 1, the OG Survivor.
Mm.
Really?
I have watched literally like, look,
Was it Jeff
Jeff Probst,
Jeff Pro?
and he's still the host.
Okay. He
Russ-
wasn't for a while because he did some sort of he got canceled or something, right?
It's not true at all.
Okay, wow. Wow. Okay.
Listen, there are 49 seasons, and I've seen every one.
You serious?
Dead serious.
That's
The new season started 2 weeks ago. There's
Dark.
2 seasons a year.
You're dark.
Listen, I don't have like a plethora of like good memories with my mom,
Mm.
But that's the
but
one.
watching Survivor is like one of like the
I
3
take back
that
the
I have.
dark statement
Yeah.
there.
So
Now
no,
there's
go ahead.
sentimental. But
Put me down.
Dude, he always does that. You
So-
start picking at him. He's like, "Here's some sentimental reason that I
yeah,
have
and
this."
then I'm the big scumbag.
Yep.
One
Out of
through a
control
hundred.
how
don't
you
get
feel.
3. Oh, go ahead. Give me another one. You said you
So
had.
yeah, Survivor for sure. Like my daughter will know that show.
Why don't you get to the point? Dad, I hate this
Yeah.
show.
I was just thinking that.
And then, I mean, I'm a sucker for shitty realities like Ink Master.
Who's Dave Garrow or no?
Dave
who-
Navarro doesn't host anymore. Now it's I feel like they really demoted to Joel Madden. He was the lead singer of Good Charlotte.
Oh, they tried filling his shoes with.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was. I didn't even know he was a rock star until like a week ago.
Yeah, that's because
He's
this
not.
band came out when you were fucking 1.
When did Jane's Addiction come out?
Way before that.
I never heard of them either.
What is it?
Yeah.
Coldplay and
Yeah, but
Drake?
you haven't even seen Goodwill Hunting until last week.
It's true.
And you didn't even think it was that good. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know
you're
if your
still, what,
opinion really
mid-25
matters.
You're 25.
26.
I got a stiff sock holder than that.
Yeah.
Picking up 1 through 100.
He's up.
No, didn't he pick 100?
No, I did.
1 through 100. I tried to tell my guests there's no wrong number. I've had a guy.
My daughter's about to be 2.
I had a guy wait like 5. I'm like, dude, just pick a number. I don't want to pick the wrong one.
Oh man.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
An animal?
Yes.
Oof.
I know exactly what I would be.
What? Oh yeah, we know. I already know what he's gonna say.
I think, you know what? Wait. All right, go ahead. But I think I got a new aspect to this game here.
I mean, would I have like my consciousness?
Yes.
Oh, that
Wait,
for
though. Now
sure.
my whole thing. Thank you for bringing that up because now my whole thing just changed on what I think I want to be.
I would for sure want to be some very large sea creature so I can figure out what's going on down there.
Right.
Yeah,
sperm whale?
something's happening.
Yes, yeah. Dude, there's way more world down there than there is up here.
We don't know. That's where they live.
Where marijuana.
The government has said they live down there.
Mariana Trench. There's a really deep-
Mariana
Mariana Trench.
Mariana Trench. Dude, yeah. What's your animal?
Pelican.
Pelican,
Really?
biggest throat.
Biggest throat. Dude, I said that once
Listen,
as
here's
a
the
joke
thing.
at the
This
studio.
is-
No one thought it was funny.
Yeah, Austin used to. I
Beat it out of me.
beat it out of him pretty hard, but he like his day consisted of what stupid questions can I ask?
It's true. I thought they were funny.
That
But
is
then
funny,
fucking no fun and fucking Junior there would fucking just like nitpick them until they weren't fun.
We mean no fun.
All right,
You
pick a
really
number
have the
1 to
most fun.
100.
How old are you, Donnie?
I already picked it.
38.
You're 38. Why'd you so offended when I asked? How old are you?
38.
Lying ass.
Pick a number 1 to 100.
42.
42. What's the most valuable piece of advice you've ever been given?
love somebody so much they don't know you're mad at them.
That's fucking. This guy knew it. I can't ever think of one. Come on, Donnie. I like that though.
Boy, Jesus Christ himself.
I mean, I already said it earlier. Like, give people the same grace you would expect.
I like that. You cheated.
What do you
You
mean?
can't go wrong. God's always got the good ones.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
why I
that's
followed
good.
the
Stop
big man.
plagiarizing.
You plagiarizing. I guess that question is about plagiarizing. I was thinking on these questions, like that it isn't something like that, though. You answer what you think the other one's going to ask. So we're going to try that now.
Ooh.
Pick a number 1 through 100.
83.
83. Let's see if this plays. 83. Cat or dog? What's he going to pick?
He's a dog.
Cat or dog? What's he going to pick?
He's a dog.
Are we right?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Pick another
Yeah.
number 1 through 100. That was lame.
98.
All right.
Got that dog in him.
If he could, yeah, this would be no. All right. If he could rename himself, what would he pick for a new name?
Oh, fucking easy. Chauncey.
That's true.
Yeah.
Really?
True. That's
Yeah.
what my family calls me, and everyone else refuses to.
Son of a bitch.
He likes to sign his flash with that. I'm like, dude, use your name.
I know what you would not call him.
What's that?
His wife corrected me. No, never call him Donald. Dude, don't.
Why would you say that on the podcast?
Because I want everyone to know. Never call him. I know everyone's gonna.
Now everyone knows you want to make him mad.
Yeah.
No, dude. I
Yeah.
thought I I caught it. He didn't even say it. Mama snapped on me. That is not his name. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
just
See what
trying to-
happens when you got like
Hey,
strong woman by your side.
yeah.
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 So I
I
saw
don't even
that.
gotta fight my battles.
I saw his full name on his license very early on in my apprenticeship. I said, "That's your full name?" He said, "Never."
Oh, so I was right in calling him that. I knew I was. Whatever. Pick a number 1 through 100.
You didn't answer.
Oh,
Yeah. What is his name? Yeah. Thank you, co-host. What would he be called? What would he, if he had to pick a new name? What would he pick?
Big Pimp Slim Shady.
No.
Was that close?
I would like actually change my name to Donnie.
I
Oh, you know
Yeah,
what?
We
I,
talked
yeah,
about
I
that
know.
just
That's
recently.
why.
And we just talked about it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
We just realized, like, okay, that's not his real name. It is.
can't change your name if you're
My
following.
my name is Timothy on my license. I don't know anyone who's called me Timothy except for these damn scam artists, sons of bitches. Hey, hello, Timothy.
No, I don't think that accent was. Such
Let me try to make it even better. Wait,
56.
no,
Yeah.
dude, I will. That's not racist. It's exactly who's calling me.
56.
Me, it's
Playing the
canceled.
stereotype.
It's not even a stereotype. It's the accent. All right. When Austin dies, what does he want to be remembered for? Nah, when you die, what do you want to be remembered for? This ain't something someone else gets to answer. What do you want to be remembered for?
Jeez, you really peppered in some deep ones, huh?
I've never ever been.
Good lord.
I've never asked.
When
this
I
question.
die, what do I want to be remembered for?
What was the number you picked?
You don't think about this
56.
all the time?
Yeah, when you die, what do you want to be remembered for? That's never been picked in all this time of doing this. I've never read that one. That is a deep one.
Honestly, I hope when my time comes, I'm remembered for being a good father. First and foremost. Husband, friend, and artist in that order.
Husband, friend, artist. Nice. Father, husband, friend, artist.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for when you die?
I want to be remembered.
Mustache.
Did you say my mustache?
Yeah.
That is a good answer.
Tell me his mustache isn't two capybaras kissing.
He thinks they look
It's
like
what?
a handlebar
Two
mustache.
capybaras.
No, it's not. And I know
It
no,
for sure is.
no, it's
Thank you.
not.
No. Damn, Donnie.
Although you do have a good mustache.
Thank you. I want to be remembered.
Thunder buddy. Oh, sorry. About when we were naming other people.
Oh, who said that? About who?
Jake said.
Jake Miller,
Oh,
my
Is
best man at my wedding.
Yeah, isn't that?
Like my
Wait,
best
wait,
friend.
wait. Ted,
yeah.
Thunder Buddies. Their song is the shit. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for being reliable. You know, like showing up for my community.
I like that. Like that's something I couldn't have been if it wasn't for recovery.
Same.
You know?
That's why it's important to me.
Yeah. Okay, pick a number 1 through hundo.
69.
That's lame.
I knew
Everyone
it.
picks that.
Right.
3.
That's what I'm going to be remembered for.
What-
100%.
What is it?
Number 3.
Number 3. And I'm talking about this one, not this one. No, all right.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, you knew I was
Golf.
talking about that?
We assume.
Oh man, I was talking about my hip game. All right. What is one goal that you'd like to accomplish during your lifetime? You say become a tattoo artist. That isn't a goal. You're going to be. So I want to.
Technically is.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, you are. So.
Mhm. My goal is to I would say my goal is to get to a place in my life where where I can forgive myself for my past. Because that holds me back in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Keep doing your recovery. You'll get
Yeah.
there sooner than the end of your life. I
Yeah.
promise you. Be thorough, willing, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. All the shit they keep telling you, Wade, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
One goal I want to accomplish in my life.
One goal you want to accomplish. What is one goal you'd like to accomplish during your lifetime?
During my lifetime. Good Lord.
It's a tough one.
No, I mean, what's really sick is like a lot of like goals that I had when I got clean. I've done.
You shared about it. You shared about I couldn't have prayed for where I'm at today.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
I mean, I would like to like have my own profitable business. I'd like to set my life up to where I'm like not stressing financially. Financial freedom. Yeah. I mean, I have it to a degree, but like I'd like to be in a space where my financial freedom isn't dependent on me holding a tattoo machine every day.
Right. That's a great goal.
Yeah.
You want to do another one, boys?
Sure.
All right. Pick a number 1 through 100.
28.
Nice.
It's the year I relapsed.
Man, this one's
1928
kind of
or-
vanity. What's your favorite personal possession? I guess kids could count. I don't know.
I don't think kids are possessions.
Doesn't my wife count?
I don't know. Say if a wife does, then a kid does.
She's mine.
I
might get a text here any
I was
second.
just gonna say that's a I don't know. What did it say? You better check your apprentice.
That your final answer?
I was waiting for you. That's not
Yeah,
my
you have to
fault.
answer
Absolutely
first.
not.
My most prized possession?
Your most favorite. Yeah.
I'm assuming we're just talking about stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause
Items.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not. Yeah. Items.
I have, and I keep it tucked away in my station at work. It's this little plastic like statue of Spawn, from the comic.
Oh yeah.
It's him sitting on a throne with like bones and shit, and it's all like busted up. It was in a fire. Yeah, it's just this little action figure statue.
It means something to you.
My mom had gotten me it for Christmas, and through all the ups and downs in my life, from like being completely successful and like fully self-supporting to being homeless with nothing, I have somehow managed, like, that thing is still, that's the only thing I have possessed that the longest in my life out of anything else. And it was a Christmas present from my mother.
That's nice. I like that. Same question.
Yeah, I think I'll piggyback off the parent thing, at least mom and dad, I suppose. But when I was in
Always
treatment,
copying me.
well, it reminded me of something that was really important that I have tucked away in a box. But when I was in treatment, my parents could call and leave messages that they would just write down on pieces of paper and give us. And my mom or my dad called every single day that I was there, and I have all those in a box. And usually I'm not sentimental about that stuff, but for whatever reason, those stuck.
When I was locked up, my mom sent me this little, them tongue depressors, like a popsicle stick.
Yeah, we use them every day.
It's true.
It was one of those with this little smiley, just a mouth with a smiley face on it. I don't know why she sent it to me when I was in prison, but dude, like, I'd put it in front of my window and show people I was smiling and shit. But I have that now that you guys brought that dumb fucking sentimental stuff up. Like, yeah, I guess I do. I was thinking I don't have some shit like that. Yeah, I
That's
do.
your question. Yeah.
I've held on to that for 15,
No one
20
picked
years.
53 before. That's a banger.
What was 53?
What do you want to be remembered for after you die?
No, that wasn't 53.
It wasn't 52.
That was, no, I said
56.
56. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
53
Yeah.
is if you had one meal to eat. This is a good one. And I think we're going to answer for each other. You answer for Donnie. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would he be eating?
Well, I've asked this question, and I can't remember what he says. But he's heard my answer. I don't think he remembers. I would say yours would be a 16-ounce top sirloin steak.
Top sirloin?
Damn.
Not a tenderloin? Or
Not even
ribeye?
close. I give him my little tum tum. Like an 8-ounce, perfectly cooked mid rare fillet. Specifically the one from Winchester and Ryan, Victoria, because they rub it with coffee and chili. And
In Victoria?
yeah, it's on your way to Waconia. Remember you went out there once?
Oh, yeah. All right, what's his? Come on.
Our zins of food.
I mean, I swallow all the time.
God, you love a good crab boil.
That's not it, though.
That's not it.
I do love crab boil. I had my first crab boil with him, actually.
And this last one
It's true.
after the convention.
Yeah,
Just
2
out
out of
here
3
making
I've had have
memories,
been
you
with
know?
him. Yeah.
Memories, baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Come on. You're sliding out a bit. What is it?
What does he eat all the time?
You see me eat so infrequently.
I know. You like fast throughout the day.
I do.
Yeah. So it's hard to know.
Mm-hmm. But you've heard the answer.
Probably once while I was tattooing.
That's true. It's obscure. It's Mediterranean, if that helps.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
I'm hungry.
yeah, I'm actually starving. We should get some food after this. Just tell me.
It's tabbouleh, bro.
Yeah,
Tabbouleh.
I could have had 1,000 guesses and I wouldn't have got
You ever had tabbouleh, Tim?
No.
Ooh, any tabbouleh places open right now?
No, I don't. Dude, I have a
Dude.
6:30 a.m. meeting tomorrow. I've got to be at. I don't get. Matter of fact, this is the longest show we've done, and since I've been here.
Got a couple yapping kings here.
No,
so it
I've
makes
just
sense.
never.
Yeah,
had
we
two,
definitely
I've
got to
just
get-
never had
yeah.
two people tell their whole stories.
I didn't even tell my whole
multiple
story.
people.
I didn't either. I skipped a lot.
Same.
Listen, boys, this is the part in the show that he's gonna show me some tabbouleh.
No, I'm not. I'm seeing what's open right now.
Oh, I don't get to go out. Don't tempt me with a good. No, I can't. No,
I'm not going to go out.
See,
I want to go see my
Donnie?
beautiful wife.
Oh, she's
wife
still
is
listening
asleep.
too.
You don't like seeing her when she's
Honestly, I'm gonna be stopping somewhere and grabbing food on the way home.
weird.
I just can't eat much though. Like, dude,
Me neither, dude.
I gotta
With the
stop
boy.
eating before I go to bed.
There's nowhere to like sit down. I'm just gonna hit a drive-through.
Yeah.
Real healthy.
You gonna go to a
Yeah.
Five Guys
Probably
by
eat
chance?
like
Is
With
Five
the
Guys
gift card
open
that
this
was
late?
5
given to you?
days not open.
No, it's a joke.
Yeah, I got it. It
Yeah.
just wasn't that funny.
Dude,
It's a hilarious story though.
Slice in New York has the best strombolis. I think I might do that. I can't. What am I talking
You
about? I gotta
can't.
go to bed and not eat.
I literally got to be back at the shop by 9:30
Oh,
to make
tomorrow
sure
we have a
he's there.
meeting tomorrow. Shit. And I said I'd be there.
Yeah.
The name of this show is called Attitude for Gratitude. Awesome. What's your gratitude look like
Like day to day right now.
right now? What's your gratitude look like?
My gratitude right now looks like my wife. I am so grateful for my wife. Like, I mean, like I could talk all day about how grateful I am for Donnie, but I've hyped him up a lot tonight. But honestly, like my entire, and I'm not even joking, my entire existence right now relies on my wife.
I guess, yeah. Starving artist right now.
It's true.
Oh, don't give me that bullshit. He's not starving.
How many times have you seen me eat, Donnie?
You do that by choice.
I was
How
gonna
do you
say
know?
you think he fat.
Because I offer to buy you lunch all the time. And you're
That's
like, nah, I'm
That's
good.
not true at all.
Yes, it is.
that one time last July doesn't count, Donnie.
Oh,
He's
whatever.
offered like verbally probably twice, and every other time he just assumes that I know that, and I'm not just gonna like throw something on the order and expect him to
Why?
pay for it, because that is incredibly respectful.
See, but here, I have made it known. I don't care if you cost some extra money because you do. You're basically my kid.
Yeah,
He's
that's
not
true.
starving, he's fasting.
I like direct communication.
Okay,
strict
well here I am
expectations and
directly
boundaries.
saying when we order lunch and I'm paying, I don't care if you add something.
Well, I fast every
That's
day
what's
anyway,
up.
so.
Oh well,
You see,
dude, that was the
sometimes
catch
I want to
99.
put his head through a window.
Donnie, name of
Like-
this show is Attitude for Gratitude. Tell me about your gratitude, Donnie.
What I'm grateful for.
What you grateful for?
I am grateful for where I work, the people in my life, my healthy daughter, my amazing wife, and yeah, the quality of life that recovery has given me. Because there seems to be no shortage of good things to happen in my life. The more I stay in recovery and the more that I'm willing to work a program.
Hey everybody, it's me. Thank both of you. I thank both of you big time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, getting a little vulnerable, sharing some things that aren't easy to share about. As always, like, would you be willing to come back on the show,
Absolutely.
Donnie?
I think 5th time's my limit. Yeah, I'll be back. Try to
every-
get Willard here.
Yeah, we got one open seat. Willard, this is a call out to you. We got to get you back. We got to get you here. Period. Whatever. 2 hours 40 minutes. We went 3 hours 32 minutes 31 seconds. Woo.
Goodbye.
And I thought I'd be home by 10.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
There's no time that I had shows go 30 minutes and I've had some show go 3 hours 30 minutes. And remember, Sunday is daylight savings time or something.
Yep.
And you still got about 23 minutes of Halloween. So hopefully kids are not knocking at your door. But we brought up some heavy shit tonight, and like I put up some hotlines 988 if you're having some self-harm thoughts. But please hear, like, I hope you heard, like, there was some solution in that. He got into recovery, kept his nose at the grindstone, got a sponsor, started addressing it. Like, give yourself a chance. If no one's told you, like, you're worth this life you heard people talking about, give yourself a chance. Pick up the phone, down 988. Intergroup, call that, or my number's sliding across the bottom. Do something. You're worth this life, though. Don't make an instant choice because it can be permanent. You know, give yourself that 30 seconds. We had that other guest share about. We had a lot of people pop on tonight, and I appreciate all the support. We talked about a lot of different meetings tonight. What's the Tuesday night meeting called?
The Tuesday night men's problem solution meeting.
Yes, and we brought up we brought up Central Pacific, we brought up some treatment facilities, we brought up a bunch of stuff. Like, just we talk about this stuff. We don't gatekeep it. But yeah, I don't
Check
know.
out Art Shelf if you haven't.
Art Shelf, I put addresses out. Like, if you hopped on late and you're not, go back in the comments. I put the address of the Art Shelf on there. Iktomi Tattoos, same place. But if you are able to donate or give time or supplies, the Art Shelf could use some help. This piece though about the whole suicide and this and that, like, we've had whole shows about it. We've talked about mental health. Like, it's a real thing. Just please reach out. That's the one thing I really want to stress is please reach out if you're struggling. Other than that, next week we've got guests coming back on the show. I believe that I don't really pay attention to my schedule, but as of right now, it looks like I've got a young lady named Lala who was shot 19 times coming on the show. She was in prison for 13 years and shot quite a few times. That's just like what is that called? Like a cliffhanger or a shameless way to have you guys check out the show. But it's not. She's a great guest. She's really involved with the indigenous culture, and she has a lot to share. We'll probably have another guest on with her, depending on what's happening. But yeah, next week, tune in. Till then, you're loved. You're worth it. I don't have an outro yet. So Donnie, give us an outro. Say goodbye to people in the right way.
In the right way.
Yeah, come on.
Have a wonderful, safe night, everyone. And it's always a pleasure to come on to the show. And thanks for watching. And I couldn't be more grateful for the continued support that I get from my family, be it my tattoo family or my family or the recovery community. Have a great night.
Nice.